You've given millions the false impression that you're a man of God and that you're a beacon of light.
Right there,
from my
bro.
perspective,
see, this is where I have to talk on, bro, because, man, this is what got me so heated towards these parasocial guys, bro. Let me say this, bro. This is where I'm going to bring in I Am Dante, whatever the freak his name is, bro. Listen up, bro. And to y'all parasocial fans, too, go to the side, bro. The reason why I carry so much conviction in this part of the video, at least, when Cory says he is a man of God, guys, when he says that stuff and your acts are not reflecting that, okay, we mess up, right? But if it's a continual pattern and it's happening progressively and he does nothing to change or even care about it, that's an issue. So when you have people like I Am Dante or these main YouTubers, first of all, a lot of them don't even have a relationship with Jesus, let's just be honest. So they have to repent and come to know Jesus Christ, the one true God. When they say that stuff, understand they're talking from their fleshly, their fleshly lives. What they do, saying, oh, it's normal to sleep around, it's normal to do this. They're living in it. When we have a mix of Cory over here kind of being double-minded in his ways and living in that, and then on top of that calling himself a Christian, and then on top of that, even worse if you ask me, having all these souls watching him and misleading the youth, what effect do you think that has on the body of Christ and the church itself, on people who call themselves Christians, how they should live their lives? Alright, man, so today we'll be reacting to the hidden life of CoryxKenshin with MavAttack. Now, I've also made a video on this a while back, I think a couple months ago. Well, no, actually this was either this month or last month. I think it was in July, but I made a video talking about what I was seeing from CoryxKenshin, the behaviors that I was, that were being kind of like reflected back, and what we first saw with Panda and the whole experience and situation that was unfolding. I made a video on that, so I will be adding that video on that little dot thing. This is my first time doing reactions, guys, so bear with me. But we're gonna be going into the hidden life of CoryxKenshin. Now, I will be giving some context of what's going on. I had gotten in contact with PandaNinja myself personally. I'll be providing some. I'm gonna edit it into the video and provide some evidence so you guys know that I'm not capping or saying stuff out of just pulling stuff out of thin air. But I've been in contact with Panda. We talked about the situation. She shared to me her experiences, and her experiences are valid. What she's going through is valid, and this is true. The messages from Cory, I had a little folder right here that I sent to myself on email so I could have everything adjusted correctly in the timeline. I'll try to go as close to the timeline, but in this reaction video, it's only about 40-some minutes, so it's not too long. I'm going to be filling those areas in for you guys who are just seeing my video now in this reaction. But so far, yes, it's true. Other parasocial fans on CoryxKenshin's accounts mass spamming all the comments, 100%. But people will see the truth and it will come to light eventually. So we're going to be getting to this video and we're going to be watching it right now. So yeah, let's get right into it. And I'm going to try to fill in as much areas as I can, questions that people may have in this video. Shout out to Mac, Skyrunner as well. He has his original video too that he made on TikTok. I'm going to reference here. It did shed some light on things, but we're just going to be coming in and trying to kind of really just show people the truth of what's going on, because this is not a game. This is not a lie. This is actually true. So let's get into the reaction. Yeah, I did kind of watch a little bit of it, so let me go back.
Instead of being
okay, that's Panda.
Hello everyone, welcome to the video. My name is Angelo, but most of you know me by MavAttack or Mav. I've seen some alarming evidence these past few weeks, and I'm speaking in support of the victims who have recently come forward about some concerning behavior regarding a previous friend of mine, who a lot of you may know as CoryxKenshin. Cory and I met in 2014 and soon after became best friends for years until I cut ties with him in 2023. In March of 2023, I released a video on my channel explaining a few of the reasons why he and I were no longer associating or going to be doing collaborations anymore, as I thought I was done creating videos for a few years but wanted to return to the MavAttack channel. The video was met with a lot of love and appreciation for my contributions to our numerous collaborations throughout the years, as well as listening to my story and experience being best friends and business collaborator with one of the biggest creators on the YouTube platform. The response, however positive.
Now, I'm gonna say this. When Panda and myself got in contact with each other, she had actually reached out to me. I'll see if I can get the DM on TikTok, to my TikTok DMs. They knew each other. Panda and Mav knew each other 100%. When Panda was with Cory in the relationship, they kind of knew of each other. They were like friends. So Panda had already been introduced to Mav. He references that in the video, so he does talk about it. But just so people know and it's like clear, no, they did not just come out of nowhere. They had history with each other. So this was during the relationship back in 2014. Maybe I'm missing the time on it, but in that area, they already met and they already had like a good friendship going on. Fast forward to now, after she posted her thing like 2 months ago, a month ago, all this came together. I mean, all this came out of nowhere. Now we see Mav. So already off the bat, when he's in the picture, honestly, for you guys, I can kind of see how some people would doubt. But really, like, going forward with what he's saying, that already is true and holds some credibility. So we're going to go
brought a wave
in
of
the video.
harassment and toxic behavior to my comments, even going so far as to target my wife's social media accounts and the accounts of anyone looking to speak out in support of me simply expressing my truth. My video wasn't intended to badmouth or run a smear campaign against Cory, and in fact, I mentioned how I believed he was still a good person at the time. In the video from 2023, I mentioned details such as how I never cared about what he gained from his success, and I just wanted to enjoy time with the person I connected with before his channel truly blew up. I also expressed frustrations at the time and vented to a friend of mine who Cory had a previous fling with about how Cory wasn't interested in speaking publicly about people harassing his close friends and family during his long content breaks. This friend of mine at the time would post about Cory on a gossip website while mentioning me by name, which I felt I needed to come clean to Cory about. He forgave me for it. I just wanted to be free from the public thinking we were still close and hounding me, even up until that point, about where Cory was. While there were positive comments, I dealt with numerous forms of harassment. Harassment that included insults, threats against my safety, and even claiming that I was a white man trying to weaponize sympathy against a black man, which, if you knew me, you would know that I'm an ethnically ambiguous person of color. In my experience...
Pause real quick. I will also say this. Going forward in the video, with things that Matt's talking about his experience, I've heard from what Panda's told me. I'm not going to speak too much on that because I'm not going to say anything that I don't really know. I don't want to, like, talk for him or anything. Like, he's the only one who knows those things, and I know it's valid. But with what's going on Panda's side, I'm more than aware of that, and we have the evidences, the proof of that. So we're going to touch on, number one, the essay. That is not even implied. That's false. We're going to touch on the fake Twitter message, the Discord message when it comes to Panda. And anything that I'm seeing and I catch, I'm going to reference that straight to the evidence to try to provide it as much as I can. So I'm just going to let Matt talk here, but I just wanted to give that word real quick. But we're going to keep going.
This was an attempt to try and invalidate my identity, trauma, and personal experience as an individual who isn't afraid to be vulnerable and allow my emotions to come through regardless of the public perception. The same harassment I dealt with in the 2023 video is the same harassment I spent years dealing with prior, trying to make a business and name for myself.
And I want to say this too, in the comments, dude, how many people are we seeing saying like, oh, why did he come out of nowhere? Why didn't you see this before? Look at this. 4 hours ago, already 6,000 views. 942 comments. I'm going to tell you this right now. All these people who came in the first 10 minutes of the video, I don't know if I have screenshots, just hate. Like, they were just literally on Cory the whole time doing this. Like, that's how I know a lot of this is a parasocial relationship thing. Because with, like, let me stop the Let me go to a comment, actually, that really showed a good example, if I can even find it. I'm not sure. I should have bookmarked it, but basically the comment went along the lines of Mav's coming out of nowhere and saying this. He should have just left it in 2023, or in the year when he said this. But he stated this before, so Mav talked about this before recently. The thing is, the diehard Cory fans are trying to paint it as if he's now coming out of the light. He's trying to resurface it to get more attention, to get more likes. This could be far from the truth. If anything, this behavior Cory's doing is still ongoing. And it's still ongoing with Panda. Well, it used to. It ended now. After Panda expressed her views, then there's actually even statements, as he points out, to what's going on right now, even in 2024 as recently. So it hasn't changed. Yes, Panda has reached out to Cory, but he never really cared to give an apology or anything for what Panda has told me and what she's expressed to me.
All while dealing with personal issues and being bombarded by comments harassing me about when Cory is going to return, from one of his many lengthy breaks from YouTube. Part of my issues with Cory that were communicated and shut down by him were when he would step away from YouTube without updating his obsessed audience. I'd then reach out to ask him if he could post on social media saying he's okay, and to leave his friends and family alone, which would always conclude with him saying that's just how he is. He was going to do what he wanted regardless of how much it would hurt the people he claimed to love and care for. A couple common misunderstandings taken from this video were that I never communicated with Cory about his breaks and the harassment I was facing, and instead posted it on the internet, when in reality, I spoke about it with him multiple times throughout the years, even expressing it in YouTube videos, which are all up on my channel. The public wanted to run with the narrative that Cory was the one who cut off the connection with me, when in fact, I was the one that cut ties with him because I had had enough.
And right there, I want to segue right into the first thing, because I want this dead. I don't want any of these Cory parasocial fans, or anyone even on social media for that matter. You'd be surprised, dude. These mainstream YouTubers, dude, like, I'm talking Tectone, what the freak is his name? Asmongold, I think, if that was his name. I saw a clip of him kind of like agreeing that, oh, essay was implied or something, and why did she say it was essay the verse in the beginning and now it's not? It was never about essay in the beginning. She never stated it. And we're going to get into it right now. So I have it lined up right here. In the email that I sent myself, I gathered some evidences. Number one, we're just going to go straight into this, man. This was what she posted. Cory, what? You know how it is. Point is, Pav, this is what it reads. You didn't know this was one of the videos you looked back on and realized he never cared. He just wanted to see how long you would hurt him. And in this video, for the full context.
Did you watch me sleep? Did you watch me sleep?
Yeah, I actually did something to you while you were asleep too.
What?
I'm sorry, I just got this fetish that I do. You know. I didn't hurt you. You're good, right?
What'd you do, Cory?
Don't worry about it.
Cory?
Yeah.
Cory, what did you do?
Do not. Look, this camera on my face. I didn't do anything.
You did something, and I'm gonna find out on the next episode of
Dragon Ball Z, where you going with this?
Cory said something about he watches her when she sleeps or whatever, and then everybody just thought something else. The point is, in this screenshot, where's anything about essay in this? I don't see anything about essay at all. I don't see nothing. The reason why I'm hopping on here on this, like, doing this reaction and stuff, and why I got in contact with Canada in the first place, is these diehard fans are, if you ask me, doing anything it takes to really just throw her experiences aside, throw her through the mud to PandaNinja, and just pretend like none of that even happened, to even go as far as fabricating fake messages, fake screenshots, and fake accounts for that matter, to literally shame her. Like, how I don't know how much you could just get out in touch with reality when it comes to this. It's pure idolization. And when this was being read by these mainstream influencers, nobody even mentioned anything about it not mentioning essay. It was never implied in the beginning. In all of this, where does this say anything about essay? I don't see anything. Because it's not there. So essay should be already dead by now. This was never mentioned. I think there's even another screenshot. This is the main one, the number one I'm trying to show you that doesn't have anything in it. Secondly, where's the other one? Passive aggressiveness, Cory, this, that, was it this? That's the fake Twitter post. Yeah. I think it's the same one, or did it second? Yeah, the point being that it was never mentioned in the beginning, it was never implied. So if it was never implied at all, why on earth are we seeing these CoryxKenshin fans, as MavAttack himself even said back in his time when they said, oh, Cory cut him off? No, he actually didn't. We see this from the actual message that Mav provided to cut it off with the actual messages. So the point I'm trying to say is these CoryxKenshin diehard parasocial, out of touch, out of reality fans, not saying all Cory fans are like that, these ones in particular, will do anything it takes to basically glaze Cory number one, as we see with that, and we didn't even touch bases on the fake accounts, and do whatever they can in their power, well, in their control to try to manipulate outcomes, to basically shame and throw away her experience and see how it is. And Mav's at that as well. Just look at the comments. So the point being, there was nothing about essay, and I'm really tired of all these big mainstream YouTubers saying it was essay in this, and there was nothing about essay in that in the beginning. It's like reading comprehension skills thrown out the window. Let's do better, but let's keep going on with the video.
Interests, and I distanced myself with him for good, instead of allowing myself to remain at arm's reach. I also mentioned in the video.
But yeah, let's get back to it.
Because I had had enough. I was the one who decided that the friendship no longer served my best interests, and I distanced myself with him for good, instead of allowing myself to remain at arm's reach. I had also mentioned in the video, which was set to private only a few days after it was posted, due to it reaching nearly an overwhelming 700,000 views, that I held frustrations towards him for taking parts of my creative ideas in my videos, which I felt he was using to help further establish and push his own personal brand. This issue was brought up to Cory during one of our last few times speaking on the phone, which he admitted to doing and apologized for. I wasn't the only person who not only fell victim to the ravenous fan base that CoryxKenshin had accumulated, but also, from my view, the neglectful and unempathetic person that Cory is behind the scenes. Cory's brother, Certified 8K, posted a YouTube video back in 2020 titled The Truth, where he expressed his sadness and disappointment and lack of motivation to enjoy creating YouTube videos due to an invasion of comments asking for Cory's whereabouts.
I texted my brother probably like 2 weeks ago, and I showed him all the comments, all the spams I was getting on my channel, and yeah, I'm just put in the video of what he said, guys. And
this is Cory, man. I'm sick of these freaking comments about you. You mind if I make a video on why I've been gone so long? I just want these kind of comments to stop. Now I'll speak on why I've been gone. If you don't like those comments, you need to tell your community that. But I told you that's what's going to happen. It happened to Brandon, it happened to Mav, and it's especially going to happen to you. Actually, Panda discussed about this happening before. I think, I don't know if it was Panda if she referenced that, but basically, in this text, I think what she came along the lines of what we discussed. I'm going to reference it here as well on the side so you guys can see the editing of our messages together. So, first of all, Cory saying this doesn't really surprise me. Why? Because guys, you guys got to think of it from a different viewpoint. If you guys are seeing, what's his name? MavAttack experienced this. Camera's right here. Why am I looking for MavAttack experienced this, and now Panda comes out and says her experience prior to that. Mav experiences it, then they both come together. Can you guys have to pay attention to the patterns, man. You guys got to at least see that this stuff is carrying on, almost like it's just transferring over now to Cory's brother. It's transferred before to Mav, then it goes to Panda, and then all these other things. So it's not like this is anything new under the sun. It really isn't, if you think about it. Another thing I wanted to point out is the fact that Cory has this history of leaving and not saying anything, leaving and not saying. Guys, that's like a basically ghosting. That pretty much. Like, as his fan base, you guys, as I was referred to Samurai, not as much because I really wasn't involved in it. I'll put myself in there anyway. As a person who enjoyed Cory's videos, we have a right at least to have some kind of knowledge to know, hey, is he gonna come back? A right, as I want to say as much as a right, but from the perspective of a video creator, like if you're leaving consistently in different phases, right, and then you're like not giving any updates or anything else, then that's kind of weird. That kind of shows from the action that you either do this often in your personal life and it's kind of leaking out and reflecting, or you're just doing this and you're just acting kind of very mysterious for some random reason. Either way, it doesn't paint a good light, because now if he has all eyes on him, almost like it's a manipulation tactic, which he has been doing with past relationships, as we see with the Mav, as with the Panda, what she's going to do. So all this stuff in your personal life will leak out to what you're putting on the table in your social media life. It's just a matter of time, and it shows from actions. Actions will always speak louder than words. But we're going to keep continuing with the video and see what I say. But I'm just telling you guys, it's really...
Honestly,
it's
I already knew he was about to say that. I already knew.
And he even knew he was going to say that because this is his brother, so he kind of already
told
knows.
him just to see if he was aware. I already knew he was going to say. That's my brother. I've known him all my life, 16 years. I've known exactly what he was going to say.
The reason I've brought up this video in particular is that in the first few minutes, Certified 8K discusses Cory's hiatus and proceeds to mention how he texts Cory asking for help, and Cory told him that it's not his responsibility to address Certified 8K's community, which I personally believe mostly came from Cory, and that it happened to Mav, and it's especially going to happen to you. Knowing that I was one of the closest people to Cory while dealing with the same harassment as another helped validate all of the anguish I had endured. However, I find it disgusting that this behavior and harassment had to happen to a minor at the time. My wife, Lady Plague, who previously went by Rolam, was also subjected to numerous forms of harassment, such as degrading her character and career, and even receiving death threats for simply speaking out in support of my experiences. I was frustrated that others were being just as affected as me, and in hindsight, it would have been easier to stop collaborating and cut ties with Cory earlier on, but when you believe things with your best friend are good, and you're working side by side together, it's hard to see the bigger picture and easier to tolerate the harassment. Once the internet was done reacting to my video in 2023, I thought that was the end of it. Regarding the recent assertion that came out from an ex-girlfriend of Cory's, I would like to first start off by saying I'm extremely saddened and hurt to hear that there are not only friends and family, but romantic relationships which were also impacted by Cory's selfish behavior. Recently, PandaNinja, who was an ex-girlfriend of Cory's, spoke out about her time being with him.
And this is the video, I'm going to interject real quick here. Nowhere essay. Where? You guys carry the burden of proof. Essay. You guys ran with a fake narrative. I don't want to hear it. You carry the burden of proof. Show me in this one image, and even in the video, nothing was mentioned. That's why I said, bro, the internet is so weird when it comes to stuff like people. It's all just look at me and clicks and views and this and that. Nothing in it says essay. So clearly what I'm seeing is parasocial fans ran with a narrative. Sadly, we got mainstream YouTubers. I'm going to call them out. I am Dante, #1. Bro, I saw this dude's video, him yapping about something, bro. Later on him. I am Dante, bro. Tecton, all these people from these different, low tier god almost too. Dang near low tier guy, yeah, he was on that too. But all these different people from different parts of the internet, bro. Everybody just hopping on the same, like, stuff. Like, are you serious? Does it take that much to just dissect? Matter of fact, to just, well, oh my gosh, guys. It must be talking about essay. Like, clearly, oh, but, well, I mean, where exactly does that nowhere? Where does that say anything? Like, that's why I said, the internet is just about clicks and views, bro, especially YouTube. It really comes, and if you try to go against that, all of a sudden, oh, you're siding with this, and you don't know what you're talking about. If you go against the narrative they're saying, kind of like what it is, that's kind of like even now in everyday certain things. But if you take a step back and see for what it is, I see nothing talking about essay. Even in the video, it's never implied in the first place. So, what are we talking about? Like,
him on and off through the years from 2016 onward, providing videos, screenshots of text message conversations, and her perspective of their time together. That
was the most password. That's true. Those screenshots are also valid, by the way. Everybody's saying they're fake. No. We're going to go into it. I'm actually going to pull up even a screen recording of PandaNinja going into Xbox, scrolling through the messages.
Providing videos, screenshots of text message conversations, and her perspective of their time together. I met Panda in August of 2017, where myself, Panda, and Cory all spent time in person. Not only did I meet Panda, but I got to see her and Cory's chemistry around each other. Based on my own personal conversations with Cory and my time around both him and Panda, I believe her account and confirm that the messages align with what I witnessed. I can confirm that the screenshots she provided when telling her story are in fact true, and Cory's behavior and language seen in the text messages are in fact real.
And I know I'm pausing a lot of stuff, but I really want to drive this home for all these bots that are CoryxKenshin fans, not all of them, who are just siding with him like a note, like they have no brain or anything. These DMs actually have timestamps. We can prove that because, well, where can we find that? In the exhibits? I don't know. The ones that I just downloaded and I provided to you guys right here. In these screenshots, if you look very closely, there's year timestamps. Yearly timestamps. Look at this. If you go here, well, that's the, okay, I'm zooming in too much. It might not be this one, but I have it, 10/27, so this talks about the time. There's the yearly timestamps where it's referenced, and it tells us where. So these are not fabricated. These are not fake. Got it. Look very closely and pay attention to these noobs in the back, bro. What do you see right here? PandaNinja, my internet is down. CoryxKenshin. This is actually Cory's official Xbox profile too. I'll reference that back in the screen recording. March 11, 2018. Am I reading that right? Yeah. Okay. Well, June 7, 2019. These aren't fabricated. You know it's legit when it has the actual year stamp on any message. These fans are claiming to say these things when they're just pulling stuff out of thin air, bro. Sorry, these are just parasocial activity. We go back to the people who fabricated it. Head over to this. Well, that's weird. That kind of looks like a Discord. When was that made? I don't know. July 13, 2025. What? Are you serious? So right off the bat, when I bring these messages to you, I know I'm yapping. I want to drive this home, dude. When you guys see these parasocial fans create stuff like this, fake Discords, CoryxKenshin 2, July 13th, that was actually 2 days after Panda said that. When it was on Xbox. Where is it? Same thing. This one just doesn't have the yearly. The other one did. Like, how much do you need? I just don't understand. Like, how much does it have to get you to get the gears turning? I'm talking to these mainstream bots, bro, because I'm really tired of, like, people like I Am Dante and all these other guys like Tecton, bro. Like, you guys are just on autopilot or something, like on, excuse my language, some like B writing type stuff, bro. Wake up! Like, you see this, you see the other one, like, you're saying, oh no, these are legit. We're gonna go to the screen recording where she opens the app and actually scrolls through the stuff. It doesn't take that much brain power, dude. Like, stop being in denial and actually open your eyes and stop being blind. You guys are a part of the problem. And it's really annoying to see that. And it's like, how much do we need to get people to actually start seeing this? Thankfully, people are seeing it, but it still stands.
Not only are they real messages,
Back to it.
but what wasn't publicly shown in the text thread mentions my name as one of the people who
Also true. Right here.
Cory informed of his and Panda's relationship at the time. Once Panda's story blew up online, she faced multiple forms of harassment, such as doxing, and even received death threats for simply expressing her truth.
That's also
her
true.
story wasn't what many people claim to be a nothing burger, making videos disingenuously presenting Panda's story, showcasing a lack of care for a very serious circumstance. In Panda speaking out, she set forth the openness and strength for others with similar stories to step out of the shadows. Shortly after Panda's story circulated, another woman reached out to Panda with more proof of Cory's terrible behavior with women, disregarding personal boundaries, and even going so far as to have close friends keep tabs on what these women were saying and doing on their social media accounts. In 2015, I received a YouTube DM from a woman who was close friends with Cory at the time, asking for clarification about their friendship, wondering if there was more of a romantic interest by the way he would speak to her. I couldn't provide any clarity though, and I didn't think much of it at the time. A few years ago, she replied to a YouTube comment on her channel, updating someone about her and Cory's friendship, and stated that they weren't friends anymore due to him believing what a fan said about me, and yelled at me for being a terrible person. Another person who I believe is a victim in all of this, who, out of respect for her privacy, I won't mention by name, is a woman I met early on in Cory and I's friendship, who happened to be a long-time on and off high school girlfriend of Cory's. In between...
Big one right there. I'm gonna say this. There is a... God, I'm gonna have to link it, but there's a lot of history between that photo, that's all I'm gonna say. From what I've been discussing with Panda, what we've come to a conclusion is there's definitely something going on between Cory and this girl, and there's definitely history behind it. There's specific post. If you go to CoryxKenshin's sister's post, I have to go reference it. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. I'll put a link there, or I'll try to reference it later in the future of the video. I'm going to edit this part out. Go to her post. There's a specific day. Matter of fact, let me just go to it. What am I doing? I think Panda sent it to me on... yeah, she did. Hold up. I'm gonna blur all this out so nobody can see. Okay, so let's what sticks out to me the most, right? Cory right there, left side, right here. Cory, child, that is her. So when people see these, first of all, when people see this, they try to be in self-denial in the first place. What seems to be going on here is that this person is in the picture. Now, I don't know if she's aware of Cory's behavior and what he's doing. I don't know if she's aware of it, and maybe she's trying to, God knows. I'm not really going to delve too much into this, but I think this should shed some light on how Cory is not really even honest with his fan base. When he tells you guys these, yes, people will say, well, it's a private, personal life, he doesn't have to do that. That's true, but with all the stuff happening in the background, and things we're actually seeing that are coming into light, such as this image or other things, and now people want to paint like Mac doesn't know what he's saying and Panda knows what he's saying. When you see all of these evidences come together, and say the screenshots, right? I showed that nothing mentioned about SA. For example, the next one talking about the Twitter posts were being fake. Those are fake. They're not real, which I need to provide. That should piece together in your mind that maybe what these guys are saying are actually true. Maybe what Mav and Panda is saying, along with the other, there's more females. I think there's 4 of them total who have come up with these things, have seen themselves is true because of the evidences we've been seeing so far. So it really all adds up when you start seeing it in that angle. The people who don't want to see it, the people who choose to not see it are either the parasocial fans, they either choose not to see it, or they see it and they don't care. And they just want to keep idolizing Cory as a god. It's really sad, but...
Between all of his questionable relationships with women, it seemed to me there was always someone he could fall back on. I recall one situation where Cory had a random woman come out to his house. When his girlfriend came over unannounced and awkwardly found Cory and the woman in his bedroom. This is just a subtle glimpse into how Cory treats his relationship with women. In my view, Cory often disregarded the emotions and boundaries of people around him, especially women, treating relationships casually and selfishly. I felt the need to write a statement to help further validate the victim's experiences, and in my experience, this was psychological manipulation and emotional abuse. It's been difficult to reconcile the public image you've built, one centered around faith, morality, and Christian values, with the private behavior I and others have personally witnessed over the years. In my experience and personal interactions, there's a deep disconnect between the public persona you've cultivated and the conduct I observed in private settings, utilizing
Yes, there is, and I think in this, Mav is completely valid in saying, because these are his personal experiences, but he's also known Cory how long, as well as Panda, so it gets to a point, how far do you have to go to see if each individual different person is having this relationship with Cory, and now they're saying something else that's aligning.
Family-safe brand image to attract children and people who may not know any better is disgusting in my eyes. I believe all you care about is yourself and protecting your brand image. I don't believe you care about your audience, and I sure don't believe you care about your friends or your family. This isn't about trying to dirty Cory's name, because I believe he's done that himself to anyone who has ever seen past his facade. This video isn't about clout or trying to build or gain anything from his name or platform. There was a point in time where I truly thought Cory was a good person, but as time has gone on and more people have received personal traumas due to his actions, I felt I needed to speak. Mental and emotional abuse are very much a real thing that is typically not taken seriously by society at large, especially when it comes from a woman's voice. Just because someone isn't physically abused doesn't mean we get to take the victim's all mirror emotional abuse to me. The last text Cory sent me mentioned that he was hopeful to change and repair things with his mother because the same anger he had towards me, he held against her, and maybe their relationship wouldn't have to decay the same way ours did. Not only do I believe that you haven't changed, but from my perspective, you continue to misuse the influence you've been given, taking advantage of situations and people when it suits you. In my experience, your behavior has followed a deeply harmful pattern that echoes emotional and psychological manipulation, all the while being enabled by the ones so dedicated to keeping your name in a good light. You've given millions the false impression that you're a man of God and that you're a beacon of light.
Right there,
from my
bro.
perspective,
see, this is where I have to talk on, bro, because, man, this is what got me so heated towards these parasocial guys, bro. Let me say this, bro. This is why I'm going to bring in I Am Dante, whatever the freak his name is, bro. Listen up, bro. And to y'all parasocial fans, too, go to the side, bro. The reason why I carry so much conviction in this part of the video, at least, when Cory says he is a man of God, guys, when he says that stuff and your acts are not reflecting that, okay, we mess up, right? But if it's a continual pattern and it's happening progressively and he does nothing to change or even care about it, that's an issue. Especially if you are publicly putting yourself online with so many souls watching you. Do you understand the influence you have on that? That's not a game. How many people are watching you? How many young Christians, for that matter, are coming in and maybe seeing Cory and seeing these messages, seeing these things, these light jokes that he says? When Cory first came out and started saying like the N-word and stuff like that and doing these, because there's clips of him cursing where he just started, and he didn't make it a big deal. When people of the young youth watch them and they're, say, believers in Christ, and they watch him, what? influence do you think that's going to have on them now? Oh, it's okay to curse. It's okay to do this. No, it's not. And people like I Am Dante, for example, I saw his video, bro, when he said, he's a normal person, he can't do this stuff, and bro was just tweaking out over what? To just basically defend what he was doing, the worldly behaviors. Guys, Christians are called to be set apart from the world, okay? Matter of fact, let's get into the scriptures and see what it has to say. Romans 12:2 actually points it out perfectly. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your minds. He's talking to Christians, believers in Christ. That by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So when you call yourself a Christian, I made a video actually on this about how why calling yourself a Christian in 2025 doesn't mean anything. I'll reference that video here, but I'm gonna break it down. Basically, the weight of people calling, like, we're having so much of an influx of people throw a cross in their bio. I'm a Christian. Go live like the world. Go party at the club. Go drink, get drunk, sleep around with girls the other 6 days a week. That one Sunday, go pull up. Okay, I'm gonna. That's not how it works, buddy. You're not a Christian. You're a sheep in wolf's clothing. Period. You're a Christian. You will reap the fruits of the Spirit. Galatians. There's a verse in Galatians, but it talks about the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. What makes Cory in a very bad spot right now, and I think this video is honestly, if you ask me, probably judgment for what he's been doing. And many people will say, oh my God, he's saying that. Yeah, I'm saying it. So when we have, for his actions, of course, so when you have people like I Am Dante or these main YouTubers, first of all, a lot of them don't even have a relationship with Jesus, let's just be honest. So they have to repent, come to know Jesus Christ, the one true God, King of kings, Lords of lords. Repent, believe in the gospel, you'll be saved. When they say that stuff, understand they're talking from their fleshly lives, what they do, saying, oh, it's normal to sleep around, it's normal to do this. They're living in it. So when we have a mix of Cory over here kind of being double-minded in his ways and living in that, and then on top of that calling himself a Christian, and then on top of that, even worse if you ask me, having all these souls watching him and misleading the youth, what effect do you think that has on the body of Christ and the church itself, on people who call themselves Christians, how they should live their lives? That's gonna damn souls. I'm sorry, that's what it's gonna do. That's just the hard truth. And it's scary. It's scary. What Jesus says about this, you want to see it? Let's go to it. Very severe. It's a tough verse, but this applies, say, to people who are willingly misleading these people and not really caring little. Matthew 18 starts at, I believe that's verse 7. Anyone who welcomes a little child like this on my behalf is welcoming to me. But if you cause one of these little ones to trust in me to fall into sin, it's a lot. It would be better for you to have a large millstone tied around your neck and be drowned into the depths of the sea. Now, obviously Jesus isn't telling us to do that to people, but the severity of willingly misleading people, especially the youth in Christ, like Cory's in this situation, a very dangerous game he's playing. To go down that route and to go vulgar Cory, you don't joke about that stuff, dude. Like, you don't put that on. You have such a high following. Why would you say something like, yes, we all mess up, but it doesn't look like, from what Mav is telling us, MavAttack, this stuff isn't changing. The behavior isn't progressively getting better, and he's becoming, he's getting away from it. It's kind of getting worse and worse and worse. Like, it's just not really going anywhere. So if he's willingly doing this, then God will step in and God will judge righteously for what he has to do, take back, and probably give his, judgment or have his will on how it's going to be done. But it's a dangerous game, and it's not something to play around.
The culture surrounding your platform mirrors the harm I believe you've caused behind the scenes, reflecting a pattern of disregard towards women, close friends, and those who once trusted you, including myself. Cory's fanbase has at times engaged in patterns of misogynistic harassment,
That's true.
particularly towards women and those who speak critically or share personal experiences. While creators can't control every follower, the absence of public acknowledgement from Cory has contributed to a climate where this behavior is often left unchecked. In my experience, this is a massive parasocial problem, and Cory's fanbase is a huge example of the lengths people will go to defend someone they know absolutely nothing about. I also do not fault Panda for reacting the way she did after her experience was shared. People who are on the outside looking in will never truly understand the attention and scrutiny you'll face when dealing with a massive slice of the internet, especially when speaking your truth about a large figure in that space, and how easy it is to spiral, causing one to potentially change information on their account, hide content, or even deactivate altogether. You can't know how to handle or manage when you're going through that constant pressure, especially if you've never experienced anything like that, which most of you have not. I followed a similar pattern as Panda with my 2023 video, not knowing how to handle all of the voices and opinions from the public at large, feeling isolated, alone, and lost. Something that big can cause you to not think and just act due to the shock of circumstance and how much of an impact your words may have. Large platforms should be utilized to help the world, not be kept quiet and in the shadows only when it's convenient for the person running them to benefit from it. I want to address one last thing about my video from 2023. A lot of people tried to push the narrative that I was jealous of Cory's success, or that I was a clout chaser. From everything I've seen, that couldn't be further from the truth. Panda showed me a conversation she had with Cory. He was spending time with Dashi, a close friend and collaborator of his, and brought up how rich Dashi is, how he wasn't as rich, while also being annoyed that Panda admired Dashi. To me,
so, Lol, this is Panda Yellow, you're basically up there with him, what does he have to do? So, context to this message, Panda, which is real for everyone to say, it's fabricated. No, this is real, so please stop. When Panda talked to Dashi and she basically told him about him being rich, she did also explain how within their talk, she did call Cory. So, why he said, so there was a bait that was going on here, but he said, movie called Skyscraper, nah, dude is way richer, was it good, lol, you both settled, that's something. So he basically said, like, Dashi's, like, they were on the phone, and Panda was explaining to me how the fact that when they would, like, communicate with each other, like when Dashi would obviously communicate on the phone, they would talk on the phone, Dashi and Cory and Dashi's relationship was, like, almost kind of like I don't know if Cory saw Dashi as, like, above him or competition, but he saw, like, that he was really successful and he was, like, pretty much rich. He had a big house and all these things. So when Panda had actually discussed, I don't know if he referenced in the video, when she had talked about her experience with saying that she wanted to see Dashi for her birthday, from what I know, from what she told me, Cory had snapped. And I believed her because the message give context after I tell you this stuff. So he had snapped and yelled at her or something like that and told her, like, I don't know, something, but he got mad and yelled at her, so she didn't kind of bring it up. And then in the next comment, he was kind of, like, talking about it to bait her, because from what I've heard, from what she told me, it sounds like Cory really compares himself a lot to other people. I know you guys are looking at me and say, how do you know that? Well, if we go back in reference to the other evidences we've seen and how these parasocial fans will make up and base all these baseless claims on Panda, which are all fake, then what we're seeing now, you just have to piece it together and come to the conclusion that, well, maybe this is real, which it is. Especially if different people are coming out and saying this. So I believe the relationship Cory has with others kind of tells in his behavior. I believe that when Cory, was talking about Dashi, he was probably insecure about what Dashi has and what he doesn't have, and especially with him getting upset at Panda for saying she wanted to see Dashi for her birthday, and he just got mad out of nowhere, because we see
revealing.
In the next
it suggested
text,
that instead of being confident in the friendship,
like Max says,
he compared himself to someone close to him.
True, that's true. So at face value, you guys may be seeing these pictures, right? I'm putting myself in the viewer, like, if you're watching me, you're saying, who is this guy? He says he knows Panda. And if we break down these things, and I'm showing you the evidences that I've actually talked to Panda, we have calls and all these things. From this perspective, it may look like, say, oh, it just looks like he's normally talking, but from the back end, you're not seeing the conversation Panda has had. You're not seeing, after you acknowledge and see that this is actually real, you're not seeing when she's talked to Dashi and he yelled at her, or when she talked to Cory, and Cory yelled at her for saying she wants to see Dashi. You're not seeing those things, so you're just seeing it from this angle, but these subtle things, like when he says, she said, oh shoot, you're with Dashi, lol, tell him I said hello. How he says your favorite, he's saying your favorite because of what they had a conversation about before, right? So then it goes down, he says, and then she said, you're jealous. So Cory, we're seeing the history that Cory's doing. He's leaking out a little bit, but it's there. And I know I'm just saying it, but I don't know what to tell you if I'm showing you all this evidences of what is happening, and it remains true. So we're just going to keep
That was revealing. It suggested that instead of being confident in the friendship, He compared himself to someone close to him and turned it into a point of tension. I bring up Dashi for two reasons.
And that tension point is true because when I told you before, when Panda told me she talked to Cory, he yelled at her for referencing Dashi and talked about Dashi. So all these things from what I've heard and from what has been said, the experiences Panda has had, that Mav has had, that other people have had with Cory are valid and true, and they're giving their side of the story. So really, I don't see how anyone's making
First, because I've personally met and hung around him on multiple occasions. Second, because if I were close to someone who carried feelings of inadequacy into their friendships, I'd want to know. From my perspective, Cory sometimes leveraged his relationship with Dashi in ways that felt unhealthy. It wasn't just casual name dropping. It came across like he was using it to provoke Panda, to test her, even to create arguments. The effect was that even something as simple as a birthday wish could turn into a conflict. In my view, that shows a pattern of emotional manipulation, not for connection, but for control. That's why I believe it's important to talk about.
And that birthday wish part was when he was talking about Panda calling Cory on the phone, saying who she wanted to see for her birthday, I'm sorry. And she said Dashi, and then Cory made it a big deal and started yelling.
Someone consistently using situations or people to create distance instead of closeness. That's not just insecurity. It can be damaging to the people around them. I was never jealous of Cory's success. Jealousy isn't telling Cory's community off while still wanting to work with and enjoy my time with him because he was my best friend, even though I hated the toxicity of his community. I believe wanting to see the fruits of my hard work and labor day after day is not being jealous. I was never jealous of Cory. I'm taking this time to take accountability for not standing up for women because in the past, I was ignorant to them seeking help regarding Cory. Moving forward, I'm no longer letting those voices remain silent. I want to make it very clear that this statement is not an attempt to slander, defame, or cause harm to Cory. This is a statement rooted in my own experience, observations, and in support of those who've been affected, which is being shared in good faith and for the purpose of transparency, incitement of dialogue, and accountability. I felt manipulated by Cory's actions and emotionally harmed by how he treated me and others, and I believe that a public apology and acknowledgement is not only justified, but very necessary for him.
And I would say that public apology as well to his fans, number one, the people he's wronged, the people who have been emotionally manipulated, like Mav, like Panda, like the other 4 girls, like this other high school girl apparently that Cory's with now in his life, who knows. But then secondly, probably his fans. Especially for the behavior he's painting as a Christian. He has to touch base on that. I don't know how it's going to go, but we're going to have to see.
Thank you so much for hearing my voice. And now, standing side by side with me, here is PandaNinja, who has a few things to say. Panda, I want to thank you so much for your courage and you speaking out and presenting everything in your story. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mav. I'm Panda, also known as PandaNinja, the one you mocked, misquoted, and tried to bury under your projections. Guess what? I'm still here. Surprised to see us in the same video? Yeah, we figured. Instead of letting strangers rewrite the story, we're saying it ourselves. Direct and unfiltered. Awkward, isn't it? You weren't ready for this. This isn't about canceling him. It's about accountability. Canceling erases people. Accountability forces them to face...
Right there, which is interesting because when we go to the comments... First of all, he's not coming... It's like, when I see comments like these, I digress what they say. Like you only care about him coming or not. Pause. So this was the comment I was looking for example. Just give it up, bro. This is not cool for clicks. So the fact that even in these videos, right, or even in this video, the comments just saying, oh, it's for clicks and views, you're doing it for attention, you're just trying to get more proper views. This, like Panda addressed, is for accountability. If Cory's not going to be taking accountability for what he's done and the repeated patterns we're seeing, I don't care what you call it. If you're seeing someone and there's repeated patterns between individuals, well, oh my gosh darn it, that could be true. Especially if you have a pattern, say, for example, someone who has a pattern of lying, right? Like they lie a lot and they do these things, and then you go through every, not saying that this is different than Cory, and you go through every other relationship they had from every individual person, they tell you the same story, but it's just a little different, but it still has the lying in there, then that person is a liar. That same pattern can be traced back to what they're doing. So if we're applying this to Cory, it's going back to Mav, Panda, 4 other females that have their statements, 1 or 2 of them already brought their statements to the table, then I don't know what you're not seeing, unless it's even coming down to parasocial Cory fans don't want to see this. They don't want to acknowledge it, right? They don't want to understand it because they want to ride Cory so bad and they want to idol him as some god and make him look like he's like this perfect person when in reality he's not. And you have to hold people accountable because when you don't, you get comments like, well, let me see if I can find it. Right here, that girl just chatting, Cory hit and moved on, and she mad she ain't got nothing in return. Like, these like NPCs, bro, that's really all they are, who are just glazing everything and throwing in the comment section like their life depends on it. And it's really sad to see that because it's like people are not even, at least these, most are. There are some comments who are woken up, but others are staying in that. And it's just really sad to see. Back to Panda side.
Canceling erases people. Accountability forces them to face what they've done. If that feels like canceling, that's because nobody's ever held him accountable before. Here's the truth. He didn't need to put his hands on me to leave scars. He punished with silence. He messed with my head. Gaslit. Love bomb. Disappeared. Then spun the story to make me look unstable. That was...
I want to address some of the actual proofs. How did he mess with her? Well, let's get into it from the somewhat of a plethora of evidence that I have here. It's only like 2, 4, 6, 8. There's more, 9. So say from the messages like this, because remember, if I'm showing you this message and you're seeing the rest of the fake ones that are being fabricated by the parasocial fans, then these are true. It's just a matter of time to see it. Like I'm gonna assume you know that by now. That was the most passive aggressive cancer reveal ever. So that's Cory speaking. When she had that, like, who says that? Like, what? And I'm not bashing. I'm not doing this because I hate Cory. I actually used to watch Cory somewhat. I want this dude to take accountability, bro. You can't just slide past this, continually do it, and call yourself a Christian on top of that. Oh, no. Like, that's the message where basically she revealed that she had cancer in the middle of it, and she had discussed with me saying she felt like the need to tell Cory, or she felt like the need to tell people close to her, so she wants to tell Cory, and he says something like this. This is messed up. Like, you don't say that. Others would include... Okay, so time of day has changed, as you can tell, with the lighting and everything. But we're back, bringing me to this message I was going to reference when I left off last night. But this was pretty disappointing to see, and I'm telling you again, guys, like, if you're calling yourself a Christian, you do not live like the world. You're going to sin, yes. You're not going to be perfect, yes. But when you're putting yourself out in public and you're living a double life intentionally and you're not really doing anything little to no change at all, then it's really sad. But anyways, this message reads, and we're going to go into the screen recording after we go back to the video, but official CoryxKenshin 2. This is the real Cory from the Xbox messages, but we got online. Panda says, but I guess it was just just good to sleep around for you. CoryxKenshin responds, when you said relationship, I thought you meant I was just going to ask you out. She said, nah. Cory says, I mean, you were, but that's not all you were anyway. So, already, this message is kind of showing the true colors of the table of who Cory already is. Like, this type of stuff, like, he's just really sleeping around. And again, I'm talking about as a Christian. All you worldly bots over here, bro, I refer to the worldly bots to people who just intentionally live like the world, right? Y'all have no say in this. I Am Dante has no say in this. These guys don't have any mainstream influence. If they are not living like a Christian, how they're trying to like live for Christ, to pick up their cross and carry it on the daily, they're just background noise. And that's what it is. They're basically just projecting their fleshly lifestyle onto Cory and trying to do that. So Cory's already supposed to be called a set apart. He's falling short of that. Not only is he falling short of that, there's nothing wrong with falling short, but if he's intentionally living in it, as these messages are showing us, and he doesn't really have zero to no care about it at all, then what exactly are you doing? You're mass deceiving people, and that is a problem. And it just read, I mean, he's admitting he means, I mean, you were there anyways, and then she says, that's how it felt at the time. Even if I wasn't, I wouldn't have let you again. I wouldn't have let you again do the same thing. And when did that, and when I did that, I can't even read, with you is something I just don't do with anyone. So she's referring to her, having sex and sleeping. But Cory said, you wouldn't have let me F again. So really, this whole message, what really disappointed me is what I'm seeing is we're getting a glimpse into how Cory, one, views women. And again, guys, he has that manipulation like mindset. He's really just like using people for pleasure and does these things. And from what Panda has told me, what she's personally experienced, which I believe her. I'm not going to say, I don't believe she's lying. You see the evidence coming out. he was always with, like, on that timing by sleeping with girls and doing these things, but it's about, if you call yourself a Christian, are you living up to it? Or are you just hiding behind a mask to say you are, to paint it in a good light? Like, come on, we got to start thinking higher. Like, I don't know, like, these Cory fans, bro, y'all just don't want to see, bro, and it's sad. You refuse to see. But again, let's get back to the video.
That was control. The way he treated me left me feeling mentally and emotionally abused. It wasn't just me.
Absolutely.
Others around him felt it too. Everybody swears they care about mental health until it's right in front of them. You can't claim to fight for it while weaponizing it against survivors. That's not support, and it's why so many shut up and suffer in silence. And no, I didn't post every detail. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. It means I was protecting myself from him and from the internet circus that never shuts the fuck up. Also, y'all ran with some essay shit I never even said. Not once, not hinted at all.
Which we referenced in the beginning of the video, so I want that cut out, because a lot of you guys just run with anything and say essay, and no, it wasn't. Like, let's start. Like, come on, guys.
Reading is hard and critical thinking is extinct. You turn your own fake headline into a whole narrative. I said he didn't do that. I repeated it. The fact I had to say it over
Never
and
implied
over
it in the
proves
beginning
you
either.
weren't listening. You were twisting on purpose. Just because it wasn't essay doesn't mean it wasn't abuse. Doesn't mean it didn't damage me. If that still doesn't click, you're not confused. You're willfully ignorant. And I'm not here to babysit anybody through common sense. Nobody told y'all to run like dumbasses, making up storylines and believing lies. I don't owe anyone any updates. Especially not people who only show up for the drama. You don't want truth, you want content. And because I don't post on your schedule, suddenly I'm hiding or lying. Bitch, please. It means I'm not desperate for attention like the rest of you. The same people calling me a clout chaser are literally the...
Now, I will say this, Ashley doesn't owe anyone updates, and I agree. I personally, how I think, you know, we obviously, everyone's going to think differently. How I see it is, although updates are not owed 100% for PandaNinja or for Matt, when something to this degree with CoryxKenshin is brought to the light, a lot of you guys are probably going to be saying, yo, how did this happen? Or I want to know more. Or how do I know? Like, some people are going to see this video, watch it, and actually, well, there's going to be two types of people. They're either going to keep staying willfully ignorant, as she stated, which I agree, or they're going to actually see Cory for who he really is. But evidences is key. Like, that's why I want to kind of come into the table, because Max Skyrunner, who I've referenced in the beginning, who made his video on TikTok and it kind of blew up, and then myself, there's others too who, you know, talk to PandaNinja. When we come to the table and bring these things, it's really to just clear up a lot of questions most of you guys may have. So my purpose in making this reaction video is to really bring to the table all of the evidences. Essay was never implied in the beginning. The Twitter messages are all fake. All these other things are fake. So now you guys can start really kind of seeing that, for people who want to see, or the people who want to just stay willfully ignorant, you know, as Panda stated. So it's really just, it's, you guys have a choice. But I mean, the truth is either going to be stood there and people are going to go to it, or they're going to willfully hide and just, we'll see how it goes. But back to it.
Y'all made hate videos, ran your mouths, and tried to go viral off me. But somehow,
and the death threats, which was actually messed up.
The damage he caused wasn't enough. Then came the fake accounts. Thread after thread of lies, posts with words I never said, messages I never wrote.
And that fake account, we're gonna actually we're gonna go reference to that real quick to the Twitter, since everybody wants to act like they know everything. Like right here, bro. Like, yo, like honestly, like, what is this? Like, what is it gonna? No, actually, it was this video. It was this clip. What is it gonna take, bro? Like, let's just be real. Like, are you serious right now? Like, we have all these stacked. This is PandaNinja official. This is not even her real Twitter, like we referenced before. Twitter account already came out saying it wasn't them. I believe I actually have that saved somewhere, but I'm gonna go find it. But right here, bro, Stargirl. This is actually some kind of like well-known person on Twitter. I'm not really too much on that side, but people seriously believe that this is actually her, man. You guys are either way effing stupid or intentionally ignoring that it's blatantly not her because of your own bias, which is 100% true. With the CoryxKenshin fans, man, a lot of you guys are glazing him so much, idolizing him so much, you are refusing to see the truth in your face. And that is your fault. And I would actually blame Cory about that too, because he has to keep y'all in check. The fact that he's not keeping y'all in check and he just lets it slide really shows a lot about his character in the beginning, too. You gotta stop glazing and start waking up, bro. Like, number one, right here, bro, like, y'all are cooked, bro. Like, first of all, they deleted their post. This is not even the real PandaNinja. And secondly, like, bro, are we serious? Like, this is the... Panda doesn't have official at the end of her name. I did all the DMs. Actually, CoryxKenshin. Fake Cory fans must feel stupid. I don't think you guys. I think you guys are doing the real. I'm talking about the extreme parasocial Cory fans. You guys are doing this purposely because you want to paint Cory as you want to like cover up everything he's doing. You can't hide. There's no hiding this. You're dying. Like you guys just are. Most of y'all are children, bro. Like most of you are like mid-teens, late teens. Man, some of the grown-ups, man, y'all gotta just do more due diligence. Like y'all really gotta lock in. But seriously, bro, like how obvious is it gonna be? How much is it gonna take for y'all to start seeing? We didn't even get to the screen recording yet of her actually clicking into the Xbox messages while it's screen recorded and just scrolling through. So y'all, man, I got more stuff for y'all, man.
Some even claimed I edited conversations. Like, that makes sense. Y'all couldn't even tell the difference between Xbox and Discord, dude. Then you went and made a...
And that's in reference to the fake Discord profile that was made 2 days ago after Panda had dropped her little video.
Whole Xbox account. Or maybe you just recycled the one you already had. Who even knows? Either way, the desperation was showing because nothing screams, we've got truth, like faking accounts and inventing posts. All that effort just to make someone innocent look bad just to protect a person you think matters more. Strangers who knew nothing.
And yes, they're reading off a script, guys. I will say that. Last time I'm interjecting here. It's freaking 40-something minutes, so yeah, I don't see a problem. Yes, because they want to, have their thoughts together and stay on point. I will say I would have personally, if I was Mav, I would have probably put in some like things in here, more evidences. If I'm not going to be on it, I'm not going to lie. But he's doing what he can. So, I mean, the fact that they both came together already stands alone. The fact that both voices are here is the full truth. And people who can't see that, that's on you. If they don't want to see it, that's also on you. It's just time to wake up.
To be credible witnesses. They didn't solve anything. They just put his toxic fan base on display. And the funniest part, you call me weird, but nothing's weirder than strangers spending hours creating lies about someone they don't even know. You two, tell me again, who's weird? And the worst part, he chose to sit back and let it happen. This is the man who calls himself a Christian. Right, he allowed harassment to happen in his name. He stayed silent while others did the fighting for him. And he built a brand on values he never lived by. Christian on Sunday, manipulator every other day. Tell me, what's Christian about that, fucking coward? And don't get it twisted. Bringing up his religion isn't crazy. He built that image himself. Wore it like armor. Used to sell himself as someone pure and untouchable. This isn't about belief. It's about behavior that never lined up with the values
based on the evidences we've seen so far with the
screenshots,
how we talked to Panda, what his true intentions were.
You dragged me before I even had the chance to speak. And let's be real, nobody else came forward because they saw exactly how I was treated. They stayed quiet out of fear. And I can't blame them, really. When I went on lives to explain pushing through stress just to be heard, y'all ignored the words and clowned how I spoke. Like, that's what mattered. Let me spell it out for you since most of you clearly don't know me. Stress triggers medical conditions I live with. When my anxiety spikes, I always have, and I also deal with chemo brain, lasting side effect of cancer treatment that messes with memory and speech. That's why I chose to write. Even then, it wasn't enough. You guys complained, mocked me, you picked apart like my pain was entertainment, like I was nothing more than a sideshow for you to tear down. Some of you even said I was writing in poems. Let's be real. I write better than half of you stupid ass people anyway. Y'all just uneducated and just don't know how to do shit or read for that matter. I didn't do this for you. I did this for myself, for every person he damaged and tossed aside like they were nothing. You don't know me. You don't know who I've stood with, who I've buried pieces of myself for, or how deep the scars run from people like him. You don't even know the basics, my color, my food, my grind, my bloodline. Instead, some of you were ignorant enough to decide I must be white just because I'm light-skinned. Like somehow that would make it all less serious. Like the damage wouldn't matter if you could erase my culture out of the story. That's racism. That's ignorance, and the funniest part, you were so wrong. I'm a minority, Asian and Spanish. You tried to strip me of who I am just to fit your weak-ass narrative, and in doing that, you proved exactly why stigma like this exists. You showed your prejudice out loud. Meanwhile, this coward parades around and bragging about how he likes Latinas. Like that somehow excuses the way he treats them. That's who you defend. That's
in reference to, you guys may not know it, but, some actually may do. I think Cory made either some post or something that she found, or he told her in person or on the phone that he did like Latinas based on like their lifestyle, what was going on. But
Some of you are way too comfortable running your mouths with no actual knowledge, considering none of you were there. You don't know the full story. You don't
Facts,
know the people
100%. Nobody
involved,
was
but
there.
you
And
swear
nobody
you
knows Cory
understand
in,
what
in
I've
real
been
life.
through. You've clearly
Except
never been doxxed, cyberbullied, and
in
harassed while
Mav.
trying to process trauma in real time. Just to be told you doing it wrong? People expected me to know how to explain something I was still trying to process while being watched, doxxed, cyberbullied, interrogated, and judged the entire fucking time. And they didn't owe y'all shit.
Yep.
Because who the fuck are you? Were you in the bed with me and him? Were you there when we were on our excursions? No, you weren't. I chose to speak for myself and for anyone else who's going through it or gone through it. Y'all already acting like rabid dogs off of vague sentences. You think I'm giving you more to chew on? Be for real. Gaslighting me at my weakest, they thought they could
Now, my train of thought a little bit. Hold up, give me a second. Got it. So now, do I fully agree with like her? Like, I mean, shoot, nobody. You guys aren't really knowing her situation, so she is kind of justified in the tone of her voice with her cussing at and doing this stuff. I think all that cussing and all these things going on. I mean, I can't really fully blame her. I feel like if I was in her situation, we switched places and say I was PandaNinja, I probably would have like done something a little bit more in a way where I'm not fully doing that, but I can't blame her here, and I can't because we had a talk, and I told her, be a little careful with the language and stuff like that. But with how it is, I'm not gonna fully delve into that because she's justified in these things. What her experience have happened, her going on Discord, like literally put yourself in her shoes, bro. If you guys are PandaNinja and there's some alternate universe reality version of Cory, but you're PandaNinja, and people are saying, well, of course I would try to talk to Cory one on one to get it done and have some clear have some kind of clarity on the situation and just try to do something to get closure. Like she hasn't tried that. Like, hello, you, do you seriously think someone who just wants to F her, bro, and doesn't really care about the relationship, and we see this leaking through the message, there's more than this, which I've already showed, so I don't, he didn't show it, yes, this is more than enough. You need to wake up. Stuff like this would just say, I would just want to F again, lol, and then people on this side saying, well, he's a normal person, and no, that's not normal, especially if you're calling yourself a Christian. Hell no, it's not normal. You're not supposed to be acting like the world, supposed to be set apart from it. So if he's doing stuff like this, if he's going, talking to, seeing these messages and how he's responding, what he's doing, he didn't care. PandaNinja has tried to go one-on-one with Metallica. She has many times. She's called him. She's done stuff. He never gave her an apology from what she's told, and I believe her based off of the evidence we see. He never really stated anything. He never reached out, never did anything like that. He never really had anything concrete. So if you're seeing that and say you're in PandaNinja's place now, and you're seeing, lost my train of thought a little bit, but you're like in that place where you're trying to reach out to someone, you're trying to gain closure, and they're not caring, and they're just steadily rising up the ranks, and more and more people are starting to know Cory. He's getting more famous, more exposure. Like, mentally, that's going to be draining. To you especially, to anyone, because it's showing that they don't really care. And someone on Cory's level, as big as how many subscribers he has, misleading so many young people, the youth, Christians, he calls himself a Christian, has a little Bible verse. That, first of all, that goes to show you can have a Bible verse all you want in the bio, or you can have a cross put at the end of the video. That don't make you a Christian. The fruits of the Spirit, what you leak out of your heart, what actions you're producing, does. But mainly, it's like the closure part, it was never gained. So if she's coming out now and she already spills all of her feelings out on the TikTok side and everybody's bashing her, then she comes to Discord calls and everybody's saying, oh no, you don't know what you're talking about. You guys don't know what you're talking about, bro. Because you guys would be in the same position doing the same stuff, bro. Or some of you wouldn't even speak up at all. You know how hard it is to actually come up on here and talk against CoryxKenshin, bro? This dude has so many subs. How many people are going to be trying to go against him? But this is how it has to be. So people who may be going through this don't have to experience this. People who may be going through a similar situation in their lives can actually have a voice. PandaNinja is voicing for so many people right here, and I respect her for that. But I don't want to hear that stuff saying she did try to talk to him one-on-one. It never happened. Well, as it did, but she never really gained any closure. He never cared. As you see messages, like, how much do we have to see to actually start piecing it together? Like, seriously. That's your video, though.
You weren't. I chose to speak for myself and for anyone else who's going through it or gone through it. Y'all already acting like rabid dogs off of vague sentences. You think I'm giving you more to chew on? Be for real. Gaslighting me at my weakest, they thought they could bully me into rewriting reality. But the truth was already written, and it's not changing. And that 6-hour call some of you won't shut up about, try getting one clean sentence out when your body's locked in fight or flight. When you're frozen.
Like I said in the hypothetical, try being in the same situation as Panda. Anybody would do that. She's already getting bombarded and raided on TikTok from the viral videos. 1 mil, 2 mil, another got 600 and some thousand, I believe. So she tries to clean herself up by going into the calls. Parasocial Cory fans are in there basically eating her alive. You stuttered, you did this a lot. What do you expect? You'd be in the same... So, already right off the bat, I told her don't get any more calls, and she didn't. Coming in this video, the way she's doing, reading the script, doing what she has to do, articulating her thoughts better to make sure she's saying it right, there's nothing wrong with that. Video's literally 40-some minutes long. What do you expect, bro? Like, it just...
Terrified to misspeak and fully aware every word is being dissected by people who already decided they fucking hate you. I've been used, lied to, walked on, and then somehow cast as the villain? So imagine clawing up the strength to finally speak while you're shaking, stressed, drowning, and the internet tears apart how you talk, how you type, how you look, how you breathe. Oh, she stuttered, must be lying. She paused, oh, she's faking. No, go fuck yourselves. And stop with the, it happened 7 years ago. Like, time erases scars. Like, time is supposed to clean it up, make it easier to ignore. It doesn't matter how long ago it was. Time doesn't hand you a clean slate. That's not growth.
Speaking of time, it's still happening now. There's 4 other females, so their names are obviously going to be anonymous, but they're real. And again, if you can see other evidences, you see this, then you can probably deduce and say, okay, this probably isn't a lie. What I'm telling you is the truth. Let's keep going with the video.
Growth. That's hiding until people forget. People change. People grow up. Cool. Then explain the people he hurt more recently. What's the excuse now? I'm not here because what you saw on his channel. I'm here because of what he hid. You don't get it. So no, y'all aren't entitled to your opinions about shit you know nothing about. And just so we're clear, he even said y'all need help. And no, that's not me defending him. It's just a fact. Because this level of parasocial delusion is insane. Parasocials are the disease of this whole community. You sit behind screens drooling over a man who doesn't even know you exist. You're parasites feeding off his image and spitting venom at anyone who tells a story you can't handle. You don't defend him because you know him. You defend him because you've built a fake version of him in your head. And the thought of that image breaking terrifies you. You're addicts. You're obsessed.
Which is why we see, and it does, because this is why we see all the fake, fabricated messages. We got the fake Discord profile made. People believe this. Like, they just want to brainwash themselves. Like, guys, wake the freak up. Like, we have these, bro, fake Discord posts when it was actually on the Xbox messages in the beginning. Didn't even address the fake Twitter accounts. Bro literally admitted, I have no words. I'm so sorry for the lies about the whole situation. All this type of stuff, bro. It's not Cory. It was another ex before. This is apparently what they say. They come out, the fake post or whatever. Mind you, the official PandaNinja official, this is supposedly, I didn't know like, are you serious right now, bro? Like, forget on my face with that, bro. Like, it does not take, it's not rocket science, guys.
Sick. You'll scream his name till your throat burns, and he still won't say yours once. He'll keep collecting your views.
I didn't forget about the stream clip message. I'm going to get ready to show you guys
each
that
other alive in the comments. That's what being parasocial has made you, fighting like bodyguards for a man who wouldn't even hold the damn door for you. And another thing, what sense does it make to keep this hard for a grown-ass man? He's not a toddler. He doesn't need you holding his hand just to speak. He's 32 years old, and y'all clown me for being old when I'm barely 2.5 years older than him? Make it make sense. It's not just parasocial fans. It's the culture that's been rotting for years. The gaming community is still drowning in misogyny, and it shows in every comment section, every Twitch chat, every joke that gets a free pass because it came from the right face. Women aren't treated as equals. We're trophies, punching bags, or entertainment until we stop smiling, and then we're the problem. And the sad truth, most of the male creators sitting at the top don't challenge it. They thrive in it. Misogynistic behavior in the gaming community isn't talked about enough, and when it is, it's dismissed as drama or overreacting. But I've seen it, I've lived it, and I've been on the receiving end of it. Besides the very few who are humble and genuinely good, the rest have built entire careers off this imbalance. They profit from it, play into it, and protect it because it keeps them untouchable. Their fan bases will excuse anything. Harassment, cruelty, manipulation, because tearing down their idol would mean admitting that they've been worshiping the wrong person all along. And Cory, he's not just a passive bystander in this. By enabling it, by staying silent when his influence could have shifted the culture, he helped teach the entire generation that this behavior is normal, that status erases accountability, that if someone's popular enough, the rules don't apply. This is how toxicity becomes the baseline. This is how cruelty turns into currency. And this is how young viewers, kids, grow up thinking empathy is weakness and accountability is betrayal, because their role models told them so without ever having to say the words. To every male creator coasting off this broken system, your silence isn't neutral, it's compliance. Every time you look the other way, you're telling your audience that women's safety matters less than your brand. Every time you laugh it off, you're telling the next generation that abuse is just part of the game. And when the day comes that it's you on the receiving end of the truth, you'll have no defense, because you built the very culture that will tear you down. And while we're here, let's kill another rumor. No, I don't have an OnlyFans. And I'm not a sex worker. Never have. Not now. Not then. There are fake accounts out.
That's true, as we talked about and already brought the evidence. Fake Twitter accounts, fake Discord messages. All of these guys, these guys are actually painting themselves with the Cory fans, the samurai. Oh, the hell you're not. Real samurai would not be on that timing, first of all. Real samurai wouldn't be spamming the whole messages with 10 minutes when this video just dropped to him live for CoryxKenshin with just hate comments. What I'm getting at is they would listen, right? You guys are just, I'm not saying all Cory fans, the really extreme ones that are doing this behavior, throwing anything left and right to just degrade, saying she's OnlyFans creator, saying she only did it because she never got to hit Cory again, or Cory didn't hit her again, so, he didn't want to sleep or whatever it is. All this type of stuff, bro, it's just BS. And it's just something that I never understood why, but now I kind of do see it, because with Cory's behavior and how he's treating people in the background and him letting his fans slide with that, oh, best believe he's enabling. Why didn't you call him out? That's his responsibility. I don't care what you say, man. On my TikTok page, I got like 300K. I'm not 300K, close to 300K, but I have to take accountability for how people are acting in my comment section. You don't talk down on people. You don't lie on someone. You don't do stuff like that. Especially if I, as a Christian, I have to be able to mimic Christ and do what I can, try what I can, rather than just not try at all. That's the difference.
Out there pretending to be me, using my pictures, spinning lies, and y'all ran with it like idiots. Again, no, I'm not a sex worker or an OF model, but the way you weirdos obsessed, maybe I should open one, just so you can finally put your money where your mouth is. At least then your broke asses would actually be paying me instead of lying about me for free. I promise, in my perspective, Cory will be my first subscriber though. Right next to all my haters and enemies, you'll be lined up paying me just to lurk. I've got nothing but respect for actual sex workers. They hustle, they grind, and they deal with the same harassment, shaming, and stigma I see y'all try to throw at me. The difference is they don't deserve it either. Women and men in that line of work put up with enough.
I'm gonna speak on this with the whole, sex worker stuff, all that. I don't agree with the lifestyle. I don't agree with how it's, how it is. I mean, I think we should respect everyone as individuals. It's just my personal take. We're gonna be different on this, but with the whole sex worker stuff, all that, don't indulge in that stuff in the first place. I mean, don't sell your body. I would say that your body is made in the image of God. You are in the made living image of God. So any females, any males doing this, anything in the porn industry, all this stuff that they're doing, like I obviously will think different on that, because that is not uplifting and honoring of God. So obviously we don't get into that, but she's right. You don't degrade someone off that stuff, even if they do it, or if they come from a lifestyle of that. Say if someone did, and they now are changing their ways or trying to live for God, as I try to strive to do on my channel and kind of push that out. It's not, you don't judge someone by that, especially if who they are now. It depends on who you are in the present moment. Are you taking up your cross on the daily, or attempting to, as someone who's now coming into Christ? Are you willingly trying to get past that old man that you were, put on the new man, and be renewed in Christ Jesus, as we're supposed to do? So obviously I'm going to have a different take on that, because I'm going to, be more on scripture, but what she's saying still stands with respect. You should respect anyone. Even in the LGBTQ stuff, even if that doesn't align with the Bible scripturally, I will respect the individual. I love the individual. I will care for them enough to tell them the truth. But, you still have to have respect for someone because they are created in the image of God, right? Even if their actions are on the lining of God, respect them, but tell them the truth. That's how it is.
Not judgment. What y'all do when you weaponize sex work as an insult is show how ignorant and hypocritical you really are. Y'all love to hashtag empowerment until it's about sex workers. Then suddenly they don't count, but you're the first one subscribing in secret. Hypocrites. He's been silent for a reason. That silence was his answer with me, and it's the same move he's pulled on people close to him for years. Friends, family, relationships, even back in high school. It's a pattern. He's done this shit for so long, he's completely desensitized. This isn't some phase. This is who he is. I found out so much shit that finally filled in all the confusing gaps I had for years. And it didn't come from trolls. It came from people who actually know him like I do. I'm not here to convince strangers. I'm not asking anyone to believe me. But if your whole argument relies on someone who never liked me to begin with, someone who wasn't even present when any of this happened, you're not seeking truth. You're just desperate to hate. Everybody got enemies who will twist the story to make them look bad. That's not new. What's new is how bold some of you got lying on my name like you know me. Talking about I'm a liar, I'm manipulative, I do people dirty. Bitch, you don't even know my middle name, but suddenly you're experts on my whole life? Fuck out of here. Y'all got so desperate to make me look dirty, you started believing your own lies. She's a liar, she's manipulative, she does people wrong. No, what I did was stop letting people like you use me. That's why you're mad. You can't stand the fact that I don't beg.
I'm really proud of Panda. I will say that for coming this far. Bro, you guys are seeing this. Like, you're not seeing it for what it is, bro. That's why I said in that example I gave. If y'all were in her situation, most of y'all would not even come close to this. CoryxKenshin. How many subs does he have? She's going against all the samurai. If she got God with her, you can go against anybody. First of all, if I got God on my side, I care to stand here in front of these so-called samurais. Oh my gosh, they're gonna master. They're gonna dislike. I don't care about that. I don't fear nothing but God. And when you got God on your side, you can do anything. So that's why I'm saying a lot of y'all would not be on this same level that she's doing, bro. Oh my gosh, Rhett, you're glazing, you're dude, bro. You just want to hit all these lame comments, bro. Like I don't care about that. I stand for truth. I stand to mimic Christ in my life. I stand to call out stuff that Cory's doing like this for accountability. He has to do what he's doing, and to anyone for that matter. I do this with my personal friends. Heck, bro, I had an experience myself where I had someone who I thought was, for me. Turns out he wasn't. Okay, that's fine. I mean, but at the end of the day, the stuff will get weeded out. Even if you tell people the truth and they don't want to see, or they lash back at you in DMs or whatever it is, that's not what it is. So you just got to step back. That's it. You got to pray for them, but you got to hold your peace, hold your respect. Number one. But the point being is, none of you got, half, I wouldn't even say half would be doing what she's doing. Standing up against Cory, she's speaking not only for herself, but others who are going through this. So this is very powerful what she's doing, and I stand by it completely.
To sit at your little tables, I flip them over. Instead, you hate me because I don't need your validation. You just need someone to hate because your lives are empty. You scream liar, manipulative, dirty, so you don't have to face yourselves. And the gag is, you're not mad that I supposedly lied. You're mad that I grew. You're mad that the girl you thought you could walk all over turned into a woman who will stomp the fuck out of your lies. So to the people saying he ghosted me, no, he didn't ghost me. He punished me with silence because he knew that was the best way to manipulate me when I was at my lowest. He knew exactly how to twist my emotions and keep me hooked. But that girl, the broken one he thought he could control, she doesn't exist anymore. I took time for myself. I healed. And I'm not her anymore. I never needed him for clout. I never used his name to build myself up. I had the chance plenty of times, and I didn't because not everyone is desperate to be famous. Some of us were just living our lives, creating content for fun, not to ride somebody else's wave. When Cory asked me what I wanted for my birthday, I told him I wanted to see him, of course, but I also said
this is
I
the
love
Dash
him.
example that I gave.
Instead of being happy to share that moment with me, he got angry. He yelled. He hung up on me and then disappeared for a while. And then later on, when he did come back, he kept bringing up Dashi on different occasions.
As we saw, and I gave context to his behavior and what Mav said. Right. So now it's coming. Now my job, bro, is to like give you guys as much as I can to the people who want to understand. The other parasocial core friends, go on the side, bro. You can go glaze them until the end of time, bro. I really don't care because y'all just want to stay ignorant. But this is now adding up. Now, when she talks about her experience with Dash, when I give you the piece about SA was never implied, when I give you the piece about the fake Twitter accounts, the fake Discord, you can kind of piece it together on some boot lock level with that missing puzzle piece from Asagi, put it in, pause, and now understand and get a higher understanding. Like, it just doesn't get any straightforward than this. Now, what she's saying with what she's experienced, what she said, Lowell, you're basically up there with him, all these things. It's like in the messages you get glimpses of it, but when she says it, and when you look back and you see the evidence for what it is, there's no denying it. So her word is true. What she's saying is true. Like it's not fake. Right here. Next post right here. Facts. He was annoyed. And I feel like that's his insecurity kind of leaking out, like I said, because he has an insecurity with himself, then he just has this problem with all he wants to do is be with girls, sleep around. Oh, that's not a problem. It's okay. We all sleep. No, it is a problem. If you call yourself a Christian, you don't sleep around. You wait till marriage. I don't want to hear it. You go from the fruits of the Spirit. You live for Christ. You don't intentionally put out some fake image and then, oh, I'm going to just push this to be kid-friendly, which from what Panda's been telling me from her experience, she heard that and say that or tell that to, express that. From what I've heard, I believe to Mav will say that, but that's between her and Mav, so I'm not going to delve into that. But these type of things, that's just using God for your own personal gain, for your own image to just get likes and views. Like, are you serious? No, that's not going to slide. Not here. So, slight comments. LMAO, Cory, you're my fade. No kid jelly. And do some that little like. There's so many behind the door that you guys aren't seeing in the background, bro. And now when it comes to light, now you can be able to see it for the people who want to see in that light. Let's Oh my god.
Him, of course, but I also said I love to meet Dashi. Instead of being happy to share that moment with me, he got angry, he yelled, he hung up on me, and then disappeared for a while. And then later on, when he did come back, he kept bringing up Dashi on different occasions, not in a neutral way, but in ways I knew were meant to get a reaction out of me. It felt like he was dangling Dashi's name in front of me just to test me, just to start arguments. For me, that shows something deeper. Insecurity. He wasn't just upset about one conversation. He was taking someone I generally admired and twisting it into another way to punish me. To make me feel like I was wrong for asking for something so simple. Even my birthday wish, something that should have been positive, became another tool he could use for control. And in my perspective, that's emotional abuse. Another thing I need to point out is how Cory's tone toward me changed over the years. 3 different eras, 3 different versions of him, all depending on what suited him at the time. So in 2018, he tried pulling the same tired stunts, flowers, a teddy bear, and that stupid note.
And 2018, well, that rings a bell for me. What was the message I showed? It's going to be right here. So she's talking about his tonality, how he was speaking to her, what he was saying. 2018 right here, bro. Time stamped and everything, real messages. And actually, I'm going to get right into the screen recording after this. So my internet is down, so I can't even well, that's Panda. So he says, hey, hi, hey, what's up? What you doing? Cory, it's behind that block of text. Panda, just waking up. Do you still hate me? I don't hate you. So this is probably her initiating it, but his what we're getting at is the replies he's getting from what he is in 2018 to 2019. So this is borderline, bro. I'm not going to lie. The way Cory's been moving, bro, this is just narcissism, bro. Because if you're talking like this and then you're going against it and then you're painting the same person who you're downing, who you're just wanting to F and sleep around with, and then calling yourself Christian in the same sentence, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's just like almost like you're kind of just like playing this little game where you're trying to paint yourself this. So I think that the phrase for that is a covert narcissist. And freaking, I'll look it up right now, bro, because I know you don't know what a covert. Yes, I do know what it is, bro. Covert narcissism, also known as vulnerable narcissism, is a subtler form of narcissism, characterized by introversion, sensitivity to criticism, and passive aggressiveness behavior. Well, sounds similar to Cory and what he's been doing from the evidence we've been seeing. Unlike overt narcissists, covert narcissism are more self-centered, often appear modest and self-effacing. They have put on this image for who they are. Maybe outside, I deal with this, even yes, sometimes my own family. There's certain things, but I won't delve into that. But I'm aware of what it is. So when Cory puts on this image, feeling like he's, projecting like he's this person who's a Christian man and he cares about God, but he's purposely doing these other things on the side. The Bible refers to something that's called a sheep's and wolf clothing. That's somebody who's just putting up a front, like go to the Pharisees, bro. They literally did this. They put up a front to make like they're all holy and they memorize scripture and they did this. They're rotten inside, right? You always pay attention to the fruits of someone, what they were producing in the Christian perspective. So when Cory's saying this stuff, I don't want to hear none of this. He's being a normal human being. No, the hell he's not. You're not being normal when you're a born-again Christian, calling yourself one, and purposely acting opposite. You know it's wrong. You're still doing it. And on top of that, you have a fan base of 20-something million people watching you, and you're just misleading all the youth away with your action and not caring. Vulgar Cory, saying the N-word, doing these things, cussing, cursing, and then people want to come on. Bro, he's talking about a grown man. Yeah, he's a grown man, but he's also a grown man supposed to be living for Christ. I don't want to hear none of that stuff, bro. All y'all got to step to the side, bro. Y'all are not about that life. You need to repent and believe in the gospel. But this type of behavior is what Cory is doing, especially from what we're hearing from what Panda is saying. Might as well show the screen recorded messages. I didn't even get a chance to do that. But for everybody saying that these messages aren't real, everybody's saying that, oh, no, it's fake and all this. Like, first of all, you need to wake up. But secondly, let's actually go and see what it is. So this is on our TikTok page, by the way. Well, let's actually see if these messages are even real at all. I don't know. Let's go see. Thumbs up. Okay, go back. What was that? Oh my gosh. Actually opening up the Xbox shop. Holy moly, guys. Yeah. You're seeing, you just saw her open up the Xbox app. This is screen recorded, by the way. CoryxKenshin 2. I'll let it play out. 30K followers. That's him on Xbox. Sliding out, sliding through the messages. Right there. It doesn't get any clearer than this. I was pausing and reading myself, but right there, though, that's something that caught me in this messages, because now that I know they're true, and I already knew they were. Well, I had some doubts, but something told me like I had to keep looking, and I'm glad she probably did screen recording. But right, where is it? He said like he was a scared little boy or something. Yeah, I see it. So right here, can we zoom in? No, we can't, but I'll try to do this as best as I can. But right here, when it says didn't like who I was before, when Cory said these things, I feel like in 2018, because these messages were in that time on 2019 to 2018, I'm personally seeing like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe he had some sense, like he actually saw what he was doing was kind of messed up, and he said he actually, quote unquote, evolved. Don't like who I was before. Maybe like that was him, maybe he was soft, as he said. He said, I'm still figuring it out. Not fully the same person, because this is Panda questioning him, saying like what kind of happened with him or whatever, I think. But I feel like that's him kind of figuring out who he is, but it's disappointing to see, because like he kind of came from that. I don't know how he was before, but from what I've heard, from what Panda's experience, from Mav's experience, seeing all these things, it's like there was a shift. Mainly because he kind of just, in the 2018-2019 phase, he was also still talking to other girls because he was still cheating on Panda at that time. I think Panda will reference in the video that he said he brought in his sister or something like that. It turned out it was just some female he's probably just trying to hit on a night, and first night or whatever. Point being is that when I'm seeing these messages, and now that we're seeing the screen recording for opening the app, and it's real, and you guys are seeing it now, the shift being that I feel like this stuff starts early on, guys, and it builds up. So if it's not left unaccounted for, if you just build and build and build, now we have Cory now doing these things and acting in this certain way, not really caring or showing any care for how he's behaving. So how I'm seeing it is like it starts off small, but it keeps building up steadily. So I'm seeing in these messages, it's sad to see, but it has to be said. Like something has to be talking about this. But there's the screen recorded messages though.
note like it was supposed to undo the mess he already made. That
True.
night he even
And more
told me,
true.
I made a lot of mistakes in my life, but you weren't one of them. For years, that line and conversation replayed in my head, and I'd ask him if he really meant it. Every time he'd say yes, and every time he'd follow it was another excuse for why he acted the way he did. His words never matched his actions, and all it did was confuse me long enough for him to keep me around. When we were making plans, I suggested Florida so we could go do things together at Universal Studios and Disney. He instantly got mad, and I didn't understand why at first. I had only said I wanted us to have our first in places we hadn't been before together. I wasn't even thinking about Dashi living there. I wasn't into him. I even said that, but looking back, his tone made it obvious that was the reason he got irritated. Even when he was literally hanging out with Dashi, he'd bring him up in our conversations just to see how I'd react. I'd play it off jokingly or change the subject because what else could I do? But really, it was another way for him to test me, to try to get a rise out of me, so later he could flip it around and find a way to blame me. The Dashi stuff was just one example of a bigger pattern. Cory constantly threw subliminals or little digs, not just about Dashi, but about other things too, because he wanted control over the narrative and how I responded. By then, he still texted me in ways that seemed flirtatious, but I was done by July 2018. I brushed it off because I was far past wanting to rekindle a broken relationship, and
that's facts, because when we follow the timeline, I'm just referencing as much as I can, so I don't want to hear no excuses after this video, bro. After I post this, nobody. Anything else, they try to find holes, whatever, that's on you, bro. You're just on the glaze, bro. I don't know what to tell you with Cory. So she states how she ended in July, checking the timeline. When they started talking, that's correct, July 18th. After this message, one moment.
Over the narrative and how I responded. By then, he still texts me in ways that seemed flirtatious, but I was done by July 2018.
By July 2018, she was done. So if you go right here, this was in March 11. She reached out. Yeah, he took a minute. Like, the gap just... first of all, I hate it when people are like, you talk, and then they just don't say anything, and he responds July 7th. But, so, July of 2018, she probably meant 2019, but we can see March 11 right here, 2018, so then they started talking, so the timeline still stands, because she does have moments where she forgets, but it's July for sure, so whether it was 2018 or 2019, I think maybe she mixed up the dates, that's fine, I still believe her regardless, but just going off these messages and heading to the screen recording right now, right there, we start here, we continue, well, let me go back. That pause. July 7th, up there. That's when he responded. She first says her internet's down March 11th, so then it keeps going down and we keep moving forward. So this at least gives us an idea of, you know, her word. So you guys can see that she's not actually capping on this. So keep going. I believe it pauses and then it shows more. So he's changing. That's fine. But yeah. So a lot right there, and then it just continues going forward. So what we're seeing from these messages, the timeline still stands. It's approximately, but the way how it went was when she said that after that, then she pretty much ceased communication. Then we get to 2025 now, and in that gap, she was pretty much just doing her own thing, right? Doing streams, doing whatever it is. So there was really no, what's the word? I forgot. But there was in that time when she tried to get back to Cory and try to get closure, gain some sort of closure, none of that was really there. So, in the end of the day, do I blame her for coming out now and singing 2025? Not really. She talked to him one-on-one, as we see. No change, little to no concern from Cory on his side, so now we have what we have today. So really, I mean, it just goes to show how this left unchecked can deal with someone mentally, especially people, if you were in her situation, you would absolutely be in that. So I don't even, or not even speak up at all. Like, this takes courage, man.
Brushed it off because I was far past wanting to rekindle a broken relationship, and the timing, I went Instagram official with my ex in late October 2018. A week or so later, Cory goes on one of his famous breaks. I didn't even know about it until someone showed me recently. Coincidence? Maybe. But the timing is suspicious. 2019, he hits me up out of nowhere saying that he wanted to fuck up my life some more. He told me he had every reason to be my friend, but I had plenty of reasons not to be his. Then suddenly he's claiming that he loved me and that I didn't do anything wrong except for one thing. He brought up this kiss from years earlier. I had already explained to him many times that it wasn't intentional. I was on an acquaintance stream. His sister came over to kiss me on the cheek. I turned my head by mistake and it landed on the lips. We laughed it off because it was a funny accident. Cory was literally watching that stream live, but he never let it go. Even though I explained it over and over, I had to apologize for something that wasn't
I
even
feel like
real.
that's just an
And
insecure
yet he's
behavior.
the one.
Like I talked to Panda personally, if that was like say my wife, because I'm planning on getting married, I'm not doing none of that. But if I was somewhere in that situation, say that happened, I mean, if I'm telling someone like, yeah, to me, it's gonna I'm gonna be blown away a little bit by it. So I can understand Cory, but if someone is telling you like it was an accident or something like that, in that case, seeing Cory's past insecurities with what he had with Dash and when she brought Dash who wanted to stay on her birthday, Panda did, him getting agitated and angry and upset about it, like it's just a lot of those insecurities are kind of starting to manifest throughout his character, what he's really doing in the background. Stuff we're obviously not seeing in front of the camera. So it just ties in back to that behavioral thing we're seeing with Cory. And again, from the messages, that should be standing right now and people who want to see it, obviously.
Reaching out to me about it later, acting like some bitter ex who couldn't handle the fact he no longer had control over me. 2022, when the end situation came up, he shifted his tone again. Suddenly, I was to blame all over again. He told me, I recall having deep feelings for you. We had fun together. There were factors why we didn't work out. Then he threw out, you were hugged up on some dude on a Twitch stream, which never happened. From my perspective, he must have confused me with one of the 1,000 other girls he stalked her. So which one is it, Cory? In 2018, you're trying to act like the one who still cares. In 2019,
again, I feel like it would have been better if in the timeline Mav maybe kind of, like I said, put in some
to me,
comments
that's manipulation,
into it,
and it proves you'll say whatever
as
version
long
of
as
the
they're up,
story
that's
makes
cool.
you look better, even if it means painting me as a villain in your script. And that ties directly into another lie he spread. Cory told Mav that I cheated on him and went back to an ex. He made me look horrible in front of him, but here's the truth. Mav has seen every receipt. He knows the facts now. I never cheated on Cory. Not once, not at all. And here's the real timeline. We were together from December 2016 until February 5th, 2017. After that, we were both broken up for 6 months. 6 months. During that time, I was single and I dated 2 people briefly. One for 1 month, one for 2 months. That was my right because we weren't together. Then in mid-August 2017, Cory and I got back together. That's when I met Mav for the first time. And here's the kicker. Cory himself told me that Mav and some of his so-called friends were rooting for us. So for those same friends to later claim that they didn't know who I was, straight fucking liars. And if Cory didn't actually want to be with me, from my perspective, he wouldn't have been taking pictures with me, filming videos with me, contacting me, walking around New York with me.
I'm going to confirm this real quick. These are real. Alright? So, it's not. Yes, it is. Let's actually go through the pictures. Alright, guys? These are real. Okay? Just a little bit more. I'm just here to solidify what she's saying. Because it's not fake. These are. So if this is real, then the timeline is also real too. So approximately, but it's facts. The weight, what she's saying, it holds weight. So we're just gonna keep that in mind. All right.
Where anyone who knew who he was could see us together. And let's be clear, it wasn't just once. There were so many breakups and makeups between us that by the time 2018 came around, I was already ready to move on. And you know what makes it worse? I had a gut feeling for years that he did, but I couldn't confirm it. So I told people he didn't cheat on me until I saw the proof. And that shit pissed me off because now, after all these years, I realized he could have given me an STD. He never told me he had multiple partners. He told me straight up that he wasn't seeing anyone else
Which
that he loved.
I'm going to say this real quick. Cory did have multiple partners as well, which again goes against the whole. I mean, we'll sin every day. We're sinning. Yeah, you don't live like that purposely in your life with little to no change. The fact that, I mean, from what I've been hearing from Panda, from Mav, like even from Mav, when the high school girl apparently, you know, saw Cory when he was sleeping around with somebody, and she walked in on it. It's like, I don't know, man. Like at that, like when are we gonna start like really locking in for Christ, bro? Like when are we gonna stop doing this the hidden life of Cory? When are we gonna stop? It's not okay to live like that. First of all, sleeping around, hookup culture. I'm against all that BS. First of all, in the first place. But secondly, when Cory is going into, again, I'm hitting on it because I can say it. I have a right to say that. When Cory's going in on this Christian lifestyle, man, you gotta be careful, bro. The image you're putting out to people who are following you is your responsibility. That's on you. That's on you because you are literally paving the way for the youth in how they are living their life out, especially for those who call themselves a believer in Christ. How they want to go now forward and how they want to put their image out, that's going to affect them. So it's just like we read in the verse where Jesus said, better for a person to have a millstone hung around his neck than lead these little ones into sin. It's just, it's not good. And we don't fall into that. Like, it's just dangerous, bro.
Me. It was a facade bullshit. And let me clear this up once and for all, since some of y'all love inventing pregnancies out of thin air. I was never pregnant by him, not by any man from that time, not now. I've only had one pregnancy in my life.
That's
and
true.
She is 17 years old. That's it. That's all you need to know. So where the fuck did y'all pull this nonsense from? Acting like I was out here throwing pussy around. All agree slut shaming was tired. But here you are doing it anyways. Backwards as hell, proving you don't even know what you stand for anymore. 1 minute you're all about women's empowerment. The next you're spreading lies about a woman's body and calling it truth. You guys are fucking clowns. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. From my perspective, Cory was with his high school girlfriend the entire time. While he was with me, while he was with anyone else. So what's the excuse now? To me, he was cheating. And to the girl, I don't know what excuse you keep giving yourself to stay for 10 plus years with someone who disrespected you over and over again. Maybe you're a victim too. Maybe you've got something over him. I don't know. But here's what I do know. Don't come checking me. Check your man. Because from where I stand.
Well, let's look into it. So here's where that falls into line. So as Cory fans have been seeing, like keep seeing Cory in the lie, all this person. This person right here, that's the high school girl. Now we're gonna trace that back. Give me 1 second. This is her public Instagram. I'm not pulling this out of nowhere. This is public information, so don't come on me for that. But this is her public information, right? This is the so-called high school girl. This is the person that Panda is referring to. What we're seeing, and what she's coming along to terms that has been going on in the background while she was also with Cory.
Wants
So
to
now
say
when we
out
come back
loud,
to you
from
and
my
say
perspective,
this,
Cory was with his high school
hopefully we can
girlfriend
start
the
clicking.
entire time while he was with
Like
me,
there's
while he was with anyone else.
There's actual public Instagram profiles. Like this isn't just thrown out of the water. I think there's Facebook images that I can also provide and show you guys. If we go back to those right now. So right here. That's the high school girl right here. This is on, I believe this was Facebook. Public information. So it takes some digging, but it's there. It's on Facebook. So this is the high school girl in the beginning. This was, I believe, her when she graduated. Also public information on Facebook. So really, and of course the other photo that I referenced prior to that. But that girl, like I said, being this same female right here. Now, I'm not coming on here to I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not bashing her. I'm not saying, oh, this is who it is. But I'm telling you guys, like, when Cory is putting this image of who he is, and then he says, oh, he's also not doing anything. It's his personal life, of course. Like, he doesn't have to disclose that information. But in the background, when you're also lying to people in your relationships and also to 4 other females, saying you're single, doing these type of things, acting like this when you've been in a relationship the whole time, when you've been doing this the whole time. And guys, it's the internet. Of course, this stuff like dropped down because everybody's talking about it now because PandaNinja never posted about this in the first place in August, 2 months ago, whatever it was, not now. Then this would have never been how it is now. But this stuff has to be brought to the table for accountability. Like, you can't just slide past the fact that this in the other image I showed you. And even, this was funny to me. This is public information, but even this, like, if you zoom up, that's the same girl right next to Cory. That's the high school girl right there. Again, not saying this to bash, but I'm saying how it's all in people's faces. I thought this was just funny to me because it's like right there, that's Cory and that's her. But the point I'm saying is all of this information is like in front of people's faces. Some see it. There's another one I'll reference. But again, the diehard Parasocial Cory fans don't want to see it. They don't want to understand this. So when now the story unfolds of what PandaNinja is saying, and it gets brought to light about what she's experiencing and her personal feelings with what she had with Cory, Mav's personal experience with what he had with Cory, the other 4 girls, 2 that came out with statements, 2 or 1 of them that came out with a statement that have their experience with Cory. This stuff is kind of piecing together now for the people who want to see it. So it's nothing new. It's here and it's public, but you got to start looking, guys. Like the way he was treating her is not right, dude. Yeah, and the way he's still doing it up until now, 2025, he did it in 2024 too, one of the 4 girls. It's continuing and it's not changing, and this is where the accountability kicks in. I do heavily believe they're not doing this or coming out to defame Cory or deplatform him, whatever it is. They're doing this because they need an apology. Cory needs to apologize publicly for what he's doing, what he's continuing to do, the misleading of countless young Christians astray as well, and it's not right.
Here's with someone who disrespected you over and over again. Maybe you're in victim too. Maybe you've got something.
We don't know. We don't know. We really don't know if she's a victim or not. She may know, and maybe she's doing it. Maybe she doesn't know. But regardless, I think anyone wants to know if you're in a relationship with these things that are going on.
Here's what I do know.
Or even having a child.
Come checking me, check your man. Because
I wish that.
From where I stand, he's a pathological liar who kept you a secret so he could play single and feed the obsession of weird bitches online and keep his double life intact.
Also,
I had no idea you even existed, and that's the truth. You were hidden so he could keep doing whatever he wanted. And let me tell you something. Being someone's secret isn't loyalty. It's humiliation. And let's be for real. This whole time, it looked like you were his secret baby mama. Oops. There's a difference between privacy and secrecy. Is about hiding the truth for self-protection or to avoid accountability. One is respectful, the other is deceptive. And I've learned the hard way which one I was dealing with. I need to talk about the subliminals Cory threw in his videos. When he wanted me to feel special, he'd sneak in little hints, stuff only I would catch, just to let me know.
I don't feel you did LMAO, you did the dance on purpose. Yeah. I think that timeline was in 2018, Tuesday, June 5th, as you can see below. Right again, under the Y though, right there. So I don't want to hear it.
He was thinking about me. That was his way of pulling strings without ever having to say it out loud. But in 2022, he flipped it in front of millions. He went on this whole rant about having a crazy ex. His exact words were, sometimes you get in this weird situation, you're with somebody that's like, yo, I need you. And then you probably like, yo, I don't even want to really be with you anymore. Emotionally, you're checked out. Really, you only got one choice. Honesty is the best policy. And then if they persist, you get the law involved. Honesty is the best policy. Please shut the fuck up, Cory. You can close the gaps in your teeth, but you'll never close the gap between who you pretend to be and who you really are.
And now, I saw comments talking about her saying she's going hard. I do think she's going maybe a little hard, like I'm not going to lie. But again, what she's experienced and it being valid and true, like, y'all wouldn't be in the same situation. Like, come on now, bro. When the whole samurai, and I'm not going to say the parasocial side, at least coming on you for that, like, was it? Did she have to say CSD? I mean, she didn't have to make that comment, but I mean, I don't know. Like, she's mad, she's upset, as she's right to do so. She's right to be angry. She's right to give her experience and communicate her feelings. So, I mean, like, it's not really too big of a deal, but y'all just dragging it. Like, come on, let's be honest. Like, as an adult, I wouldn't if I was in a situation, I wouldn't be doing that. But like, to put myself in the right light. But again, I can't fully blame her here from what she's been experiencing.
And the law, that part killed me. I didn't stalk you, didn't harass you, I didn't bother you. I always said I didn't want to bother you. And you said I was never a bother. You had a chance to say.
But I don't like bothering you. So that's her. That's probably another valid. I believe that message. So she says, but I don't like bothering you, even if I'm bothering you. It's really no bother though. I'm confused. Cory wrote, I don't know, I just have this thing, if I'm like down like this, I don't like people to know, or I hold, or I don't. Well, It's fine to not want to bother, but you don't bother me. Are you sure? I miss you. Of course I miss you. Okay, so that is Korea. So the yellow's her.
And to say I'd rather not associate myself.
So there we go. That hook and line right there. That little. That's what narcissism is, bro. They'll put you on that hook, bro. People who do this stuff, they don't say it. They just want to keep you on the side. As we saw with Cory, just wanted to sleep with her. So, and he calls himself like calling yourself a Christian. Like, bro, are you serious, bro? Like,
or whatever.
You better,
but instead,
bro.
you out here talking shit
Keep
to
going.
everyone else about me, including your stupid ass subliminals, because
Two-faced
you aren't
behavior.
man enough to tell me to my face like a gossiping ass, hating ass bitch. And let's not forget, you weren't even man enough to be there for your own kid's mother. That's not just embarrassing. That's pathetic. You left her to clean up. Always running, always dodging, always hiding. You can't face the truth, so you paint everyone else the problem. But deep down, you're nothing but a narcissistic fraud. That shit pissed me off because let's be real. Who the fuck does he think he is? Dropping subliminals, painting himself like he's the victim and making me or his high school girlfriend look like the problem? Me? The crazy ex? You must be on fucking drugs. And the timing, suspicious as hell, because just a week before, I had messaged him about this obsessive fan he has a weird association with. So put it together. I confront him about this fan, and right after that, he goes public with a rant about a crazy ex who supposedly won't leave him alone. The coincidence is too loud to ignore. He was planning a story before I could ever speak. And the only reason I even caught it now because his own internet detectives, the same fans who swear they're geniuses.
Yeah, that's fast, bro. I've seen all these TikTok, bro. We solved it in the day. Yo, they solved nothing, bro. What the freak did they say, Cory and 5? Bro, get the freak out of here with that garbage, bro. Like, you guys are... That's what I'm saying, bro. Y'all are not like that, bro. Like, Cory needs to take accountability. Like, I'm not trying to make it like that, but... Like, bro, stop. Y'all are childs, bro. And y'all want to make these fake Discord profile made 2 days after Panda said it when it was on Xbox. Like, bro couldn't even, like, assess that the thing is on Xbox. Let me make a fake account. If I'm gonna make fake evidence, I should probably put it on the Xbox. Bro, put it on it. Like come on,
couldn't
man.
shut up about
It's
it.
just
They
funny to
practically
me,
gift
but,
wrapped this subliminal for me. Y'all think you're protecting him, but you really just exposed him. Behind closed
That's
doors,
true.
though, he was
We're
still
seeing that in the
reaching out.
comment
He
section.
told Mav with a face palm that I contacted him, and he said to him,
Yeah, that's Cory when he said to Mav, man, nothing much. Mav says, what's going on with you, though? Trying to get my affairs in order, getting text from my ex, the usual stuff. Lil Nami texted me this morning. It's like, I want her to leave me alone. When bro literally said in the prior message that she wasn't bothering him or something like that.
She'd leave me alone, but I want her one last time. That's some narcissistic shit.
Maybe
Plain
it
and
is.
simple. In
It
public,
clearly
I'm the
is.
crazy ex he supposedly needs the law to protect himself from. In private, I'm still the person he wanted to keep around for his convenience. You can't have it both ways. You don't get to brainwash millions, then admit behind the scenes you still wanted me. That's not honesty, that's manipulation. And I'm done letting him script my story. You want to drop subliminals, fine. I'll answer direct because this so-called crazy ex-girlfriend that you call me is actually the one telling the truth. And the truth is, Cory, the only crazy one here is you, bitch. Y'all see a damn public figure, I see a dirty-ass dude. He's still a regular person, and a shitty one at that. I always treated him like a regular person, and he still is. Even if y'all act fame and racist fuck behavior, being known doesn't mean he's any different from a regular motherfucker who lies, cheats, and manipulates. He's not a nice person, period. Just because someone doesn't like how they looked in your story doesn't mean they can sue you for it. Defamation requires a lie. I told the truth. And for the record, opinion, emotional experience, and calling out patterns of behavior, those are all protected speech, especially when you're speaking about a public figure. If telling the truth makes someone uncomfortable, that's on them, not me. There's a clear difference between speaking out about your own experiences and crossing a line into targeted harm. What I shared came from my life. It was personal, real, and legally protected. And I saved this for last, since some of you thought it was okay to pick apart my cancer diagnosis. Fuck you. You don't get to question something you've never lived through. You don't get to
I think she's validating that because people in the whole TikTok lies, bro, y'all going crazy. So she doesn't have cancer. Like, bro, y'all gotta chill, bro. Like, honestly, I think. Hold up, bro. I know there was a comment too talking about how somebody hopes she died from her cancer. Y'all are insane, bro. Like, y'all are. I'm gonna try to find that comment, maybe even post it on a thumbnail, bro, because That's wild to me. Like, I don't
Right
know
there, you didn't feel
how
it, and
far people go
unless
with
you've
that.
gone through it yourself,
It's just
you have
crazy,
no
bro.
idea how much pain I was in. February 7th, 2020, I had triple negative breast cancer, stage
Wild.
3A, one of the most aggressive types. So let me give you a fucking visual, since clearly some of you need one. A chemo port in my chest, look, scar right here. Over 10 surgeries, needles at home just to keep my red and
Pause and read, I guess. Since people want to pretend like she's making stuff up. I
white
believe her,
blood cells
but there
from
you go.
bottoming out, fever spiking to 104 for hours
Yeah.
when those needles stopped working, being hospitalized on a COVID floor, isolated, terrified, hoping I wouldn't have to fight 2 battles at once, hair falling out in clumps in the shower, crying every time I touched it, every time more of me disappeared down the drain. Doxorubicin, cyclophosphamide, paclitaxel, the chemo cocktails they pumped into me while my body shut down piece by piece. I couldn't walk on my own, couldn't bathe myself. My family had to carry me to the bathroom, feed me, clean me, and eventually put a portable toilet in my room because I couldn't even move. I threw up all day, every day, could barely keep food down. I was sweating through everything at night. I couldn't go in the sun because it burned my skin after treatment. And that's just the surface level shit that the visual you asked for when you had the nerve to question my life like it was up for debate. So no, you don't get to pull apart my story and act like you know better. You don't get to weaponize my cancer against me just because you ran out of other shit to say. That's the man you call a king. That's the man you hype up. The same man someone's Make-A-Wish, from my perspective, was wasted on.
Now, do I see that comment right there as too far? I mean, how I see it is, I don't think she's really targeting that towards the kid who made a Make a Wish, because I saw the comments. People say, oh my gosh, that Make a Wish. No, it wasn't really, bro. Like, in example, she's kind of more downing Cory in the type of person he is by making that comment. Because the Make a Wish is being directed to Cory. So she's really saying that it was wasted on Cory. The Make a Wish itself isn't a waste. Cory is the waste. So all you guys saying this type of stuff, like, stop dragging it, bro. Like, if somebody made a Make a Wish on that, she wouldn't. She's not downing that person. I do think it was a little hard, maybe, but I don't think it was out of pocket completely. But again, it just goes to show the severity of the actions that Cory's put her through, what we've seen before with all the evidence. So it's really not that big of a deal.
If this video felt like a lot, it's because it is.
Yeah.
The information presented here doesn't even scratch the surface. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching and hearing what Panda and I have to say.
This video features crucial points, but there's a lot more that can be brought up if absolutely necessary. So, okay, there are other people who have experienced it with Cory, but wish to remain private. That is true. Like us, the 4 girls. Some came up with statements, did what they have to do, but at this moment, until they're comfortable enough to come out themselves, they will. So we'll have to see that when they do. But that's it, man. Like I said, I feel like my part in this reaction video that I'm doing is to really just come in and supply you guys with as much things for those who want to see, obviously, for any Cory fans, maybe some parasocial ones who's come across this video, see this reaction. You guys can see the evidence, go back, rewatch, take notes of all the evidence that were provided, the images of the high school girl, who she is, what was going on while Panda was in a relationship with her at the same time, all that type of stuff. So the messages are real. What we can take away from this essay never implied. I don't want to hear that. Twitter posts, fake CoryKenshin posts saying that Panda lied, she didn't do it. The fake alleged people saying that they were Panda's friend. None of those people are actually even with her. They're all fake. Everything is fake. So her experience is valid. That's the key takeaway. Going forward with this video, man, I really pray that people can start seeing this type of things and start probably holding Cory accountable for this different situation. That the samurai can rise up, the good ones, for that matter, and call it out, bro. Like, just actually go through this, like, one by one. Like, do it, because if you care about Cory, you would want somebody to call someone out for what they're doing, the wrong things they're doing. Cory calls himself a Christian. I 100% will call him out, because that's even what the Bible tells us to do. There's a book, verse in the Bible where it says, we must righteously judge others. It's around if I was bring it up. So 1 Corinthians 5, when Paul is talking to the church of Corinth, he's talking about what they're dealing with, all this stuff, their incest, basically all this sexual morality stuff that's pretty bad. But he basically says right here, so God will judge those outside, expel the wicked person from among you. So the context in that verse is that the church of Corinth is doing all these messed up things, so they're also claiming to be Christian. They're claiming to do these things, but they live worldly. They do worldly things. So as Christians, we have every right to judge righteously. Jesus even Paul tells us to. Paul still is a follower of Christ, so this is what God also recommends us to do. So these things are important, especially in our relationships and how we deal with other people as Christians and how we mimic Christ the best we can. So that pretty much wraps up the reaction video. But Cory, if you're watching this, man, get right with God, bro. Got to get right. Fruits of the Spirit must be mimicked. Repent. Believe in the gospel. Go and apologize for what you've done, man. Do it right, because if you keep going down this path, it's not going to be good. God is not going to allow you to keep continuing going forward and misleading the youth in Christ who are possibly doing these things to live these ways. Get right while you can, while you still have time. We all will face judgment in the judgment seat of God. For Christians, we will pass from that because of the blood of Christ, obviously. But if you are within that, I mean, I think you should really heavily advise if you even have a relationship with Christ at all. Work on it, build it up, and actually believe in Christ as your Savior, because a real believer would not be doing these type of things, man. So that wraps up the reaction, man. Hope you guys have a blessed day, man. Take care. I got to head off to work. Got to be there about like 1:20 something. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Share the video as well if you want to. We can really bring up the message, what we have to do. Comment what your thoughts are on this, man. What you guys think Cory should do, how we should move forward. How do you think he should respond in a way? I think he should just respond personally. Let it all out. Tell the whole truth so it can all come to pass. And he can do that, get it off his chest. But he'd be wise to do that, because if he doesn't respond, it's just going to look more bad for him. So obviously he's kind of locked into doing something. He has to do something. I recommend just come out clean, man. It makes you look even more. You'll have my respect for doing it, 100%. But yeah, I'm ending it off here anyways, man. You guys take care. Subscribe to my channel if you guys, miss my content. I make JoJo's content, a little bit of JoJo content here, with the anime. But I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Take care. Peace out, man.